Fresh off a facelift, Hard Rock Stadium is energized. A sense here of relief after a tense week in Florida, and now release for this big rivalry game. Welcome to ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Miami 4-0 against a suspect schedule in Mark Richt's first year. Favorites tonight against number 23 Florida State. Hurricane Matthew dominating the headlines, and after devastating Haiti and the Bahamas, missed Miami by 115 miles, skirted the Florida coast. The most severe damage in this state came up north near Jacksonville, and of course continued to torment those in Georgia and South Carolina. Our thoughts certainly with everyone affected everywhere by Hurricane Matthew. And there is a sense of relief in the stadium tonight, and certainly many players from this state relieved to be thinking about football, believe that their families are all okay. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder will join us. We've had the pleasure of calling the last few of these, but I think the backdrop has shifted. Don't you feel it? Yeah. For Miami, no more moral victories. That won't cut it anymore. They are desperate to end this 6-game skid against the Seminoles.
Yeah, Mark Richt comes in as the head coach. He's created some excitement. One thing he's very fortunate to have is he inherited Brad Kaya, a 3-year starting quarterback, and I think it's really given him a chance to feel comfortable on how they attack defenses, and he's had some success. I think the experience that Kaya brings has been a big key. But Chris, look at the arm strength here. From the left hash last week against Georgia Tech, throws an absolute rope here, almost 40 yards for a big completion. Here's the experience. Recognizing coverage, he sees it's cover 3. He knows between the corner and the safety, he's able to hit that crease, and is able to do that to give his receiver a chance. They run a lot of the RPOs, the run-pass options. Here the linebacker gets out of position. He finds Stacy Coley, and there's a big gain. So, as you said, this will be a different challenge and a different test because of the athletes from Florida State. But let's not forget, the Noles have struggled this year on defense, giving up a lot of big plays, a lot of blown assignments, something that Kaya and the Canes are going to try to capitalize on. Yeah, it's a run-first offense, isn't it? He's got good support of a running game, and that Noles defense has been shredded. 44 points a game allowed the last 3. So can Dalvin Cook, back in his hometown, provide enough points for the Noles to win this game? Well, early in the year, and you and I had him a couple times, everybody wondered what's wrong with Dalvin Cook. Why isn't Dalvin Cook going? Well, he has the last few weeks, but I really like what Jimbo Fisher has done with him. He's faced, look at this, a lot of 8- and 9-man fronts. Now here is success. This is Jimbo Fisher. This is what he wants to do, but it's hard to run into a 9-man front, so he's made adjustments. A little flare pass to get him to the outside, picks up some blocks from receivers and tight ends. Just another way to get number 4 the ball with some room to work with. Here, a little slip screen. You're going to cover him, take away the run. We'll throw the ball to him, give him some blockers downfield, and you can see what he can do after the catch with his ability to run. So unique little wrinkles against teams before Miami. It will continue tonight. If Miami's determined with their young defense to take away the run, look for Jimbo Fisher to, again, come up with different ways to try to get Dalvin Cook the ball, because let's face it, the last 2 years he's faced his home team, he's taken care of the Canes. Yeah, he's had the game-winning touchdown each of the last 2 seasons. Very interesting backdrop. We'll learn a lot about Miami. Are they for real? Are they a legitimate contender? Are they worthy of that number 10 ranking? And can the Noles, who been already beaten up and heartbroken a week ago, can they bounce back? Can they play an inspired game? Can't wait to see how this one unfolds. Hurricanes and the Seminoles on a muggy night in Miami coming up.
Juggernaut that is Florida State's offense continues to put up points.
They've got an NFL caliber quarterback in Brad Kaya.
It feels like Miami should be able to do whatever they want.
The Nissan pregame rush with Stan Verrett, Mac Brown, and Mark May is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
How do you measure the depth of a rivalry? How do you quantify football hatred? Here's how. You measure it by the faces, by the anguish, by the joy. You measure it by the lines drawn in the turf, the taunting, the tackles. You measure it by Florida State versus Miami. Nearly 500 miles separate the campuses, but nothing separates their contempt for one another. That spear pierces the ground. It marks its territory. The Seminoles dare you to beat them. That smoke, that swagger, that practiced indifference is Miami personified. These two teams are bonded together by decades of history, by wide rights, by wide left, by a conga line of the very best who played the game, by the very best who coached the game. For more than 20 years, it was a rivalry that other rivalries wanted to be when they grew up. It had gravitas. How do you measure a rivalry? You go to Canes versus the Noles.
Well, Miami has a narrow lead in this series history, but Florida State has won the last 6. If they win tonight, that will equal the longest winning streak head-to-head. Rick, I was going to say that maybe a slightly different tone under Jimbo Fisher and Mark Richt, but seconds ago the players began to edge toward midfield and jaw at each other.
I told you pregame might feel different, but when these two teams got out here in front of this energy, it's a rivalry. It's going to take over.
You said energy. The Hurricane players tell me they feel something different. It's been a facelift. The stadium has been made nicer for the fans. It's been reduced, but the roof keeps the noise in. And they all said they felt something. It was Florida Atlantic they were playing, much less Florida State. So I think that tonight we have a chance to see how both these teams are going to respond, because this feels a little closer to those old Canes-Knowles games in the Orange Bowl, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I think Mark Richt coming back, it gives it a different feel. His success as a head coach, his experience in this rivalry, of course, as a player at Miami, assistant coach, offensive coordinator, so many successful years in Tallahassee. And you and I can do him on the field before the game. Usually most coaches will come over, talk to you for a few minutes. He is locked in, and it's you can feel the spirit. We've done a lot of these games, but it feels different definitely this time around.
Yeah, he has taken a different approach than the Canes were used to seeing under Al Golden. There was no tomahawk chop played during practice. It was ostensibly opponent number 5, faceless opponent. Now, I think we're going to see something different when the game kicks off, but that was Richt's approach.
And again, he's coming back from being a head coach in the SEC with Georgia, where they had a lot of rivalries, and he, I think, understands how to get his team emotionally ready, and he knew the energy of this stadium would take care of that part of it. So I don't think he needed any rah-rah speech or anything that he needed to do throughout the week. Even pregame, we were kind of looking at each other like it's a little bit more professional than when we're used to, but when they came out of the tunnel for the game, it's all about Miami and Florida State now.
A chance for the Canes to make that statement. Let's go down to Samantha Ponder with Mark Richt.
Coach, you've been a part of this on both sides. You've played, you've coached. You saw things getting a little chippy out there. How would you describe what makes this game so different?
Oh, I just think everybody knows each other too good. That's probably the biggest thing. And it's, state pride. A lot of history as well.
Coach, when it comes to your defense, you've got some young guys, specifically at linebacker, up against the offense you're up against tonight. How have you prepared them for that type of challenge, and where do you see the most opportunity for success?
Well, they were here when spring started, so they've been here and heard it as long as anybody else, so I think they're ready. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Jimbo Fisher's never lost to Miami. That 6-0 record, a winning streak beginning when he took over as the head coach in Tallahassee, but his team is 3-2, Kirk. They've been blasted by Louisville. Heartbreaking loss to Carolina last week. He has been searching and trying to find the emotional buttons to push to get them to respond.
How fortunate for him after this sluggish start that they're playing Miami, in Miami, because that should get his team ready to go. If that can't get him ready to go, then I don't know what can.
Knowles won the toss deferred, so Logan Tyler will boot it away for the Seminoles, and we'll see Brad Kaya and that Canes offense. And it's a deep kickoff. Kaya's from Southern California. He first became aware of the Canes when they played that Rose Bowl game in blasted Nebraska, and here he is a few years later.
Yeah, we talked about him in the open, the experience, and really kind of a prototypical drop-back quarterback, 6'4", 215 pounds. Poise and leadership will be big. The run-pass options, his decision-making, and they're going to have to take some deep shots. Teams have had success taking shots. There'll be opportunities. He's got some fleet-footed wide receivers and tight ends. And when Kaya gets his chance to go downfield, he's going to have to capitalize. You see last year, over 400 yards passing against the Noles.
That was with no running game to speak of. This Noles defense has been sleepwalking through opening series. Only Charleston Southern has not scored a touchdown in their opening possession against Florida State. 4 to 5 games. That's staggering. They fake it to Walton. Immediate pressure and a sack as Kaya is slung down by Jacob Pugh, a linebacker.
One of the adjustments from Charles Kelly, First and 10, they're expecting run, so early they set the edge with a blitz from number 16, Jacob Pugh. Does a nice job. Miami tries to catch him off guard with play action on first and 10, but man coverage on the outside and the blitz that time from the Noles defense.
As a QB, that'll get you into the game. He was slammed down hard in the opening play. On 2nd and 15, they flip it out far side. This is one of the tight ends, David Njoku. The Canes have 3 talented tight ends, all of whom can catch passes. We'll see a lot of them tonight.
They are NFL-looking tight ends. The size that they have, both of them about 6'4", 250 pounds, and can run. Njoku really came in more as a wide receiver. Herndon more of your traditional tight end, but you'll see a lot of 2 tight end looks.
Need 11 yards on 3rd down. 3rd down was a nightmare a year ago for this team.
Pass protection, not the strength of this offensive line. He's going to have to get the ball out.
Noles rush 4 from the pocket. It's flipped short. Catch made, but dragged down immediately as Mark Walton. Matthew Thomas, the backer in coverage, and the Canes go 3 and out.
Part of the problem for Florida State in a few of their games has been miscommunication. Is it zone? Is it man? If the first series is any indication with Charles Kelly, it's you've got him and you've got him, and we're going to attack the line of scrimmage. An offense that wants to run the ball, and if they throw, we're coming after the quarterback, but we're playing man. Everybody got it? Man coverage on the back end. They were locked in that series.
Yeah, much better start, wasn't it? Much better focus. Justin Vogel is back to punt. Bobo Wilson is deep. Vogel gets a hold of this one. Booming kick, driving Wilson way back to the 7. And the Canes trying to pan him in. He gets back to the 20-yard line. Terrific punt by Vogel. And DeAndre Francois, the freshman quarterback, will begin from the 20-yard line. There's a flag down. The punt was 63 yards.
During the kick, personal foul, face mask, number 1 of the kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
That's Walton, the running back, who is guilty of the personal foul. That'll move the ball to the 35.
DeAndre Francois, the redshirt freshman, impressive-looking quarterback, has great poise and toughness. He's been tested already this year. Have to use his feet, especially on 3rd down where Miami comes after you. And they also are going to have to take opportunities where they like to get the ball thrown downfield, and Miami will play man. And when you play man-to-man, you better hold up on islands because DeAndre Francois has an arm and he can get it thrown downfield.
Cook fed early, breaks a tackle and stumbles forward across the 40. Nice gain of 6 on 1st down. The Chick-fil-A impact players tonight, Kirk.
That's, of course, starts with Dalvin Cook for the Florida State offense. When he gets going, it sets everything else up. Travis Rudolph needs a big night tonight, being able to give them balance. Look forward to seeing these freshman linebackers. Shaq Quarterman, number 55 in the middle, and Corn Elder, a corner who will be, we talked about earlier, he's going to be isolated quite a bit tonight on Travis Rudolph. Will have to play well.
You saw Quarterman. Incredible that they have 3 true freshmen starting at linebacker.
You don't see that. And 1 is rare, let alone 3.
Francois empty backfield on 2nd and 4. Flips it near side. Izzo battling back, makes the catch. And the spot is right near the first down of the 45-yard line.
It's interesting that you bring that up with the 3 true freshmen, and they have not really been tested against the passing team. If you look at their schedule in their first 4 games, they just have not been tested. So these 3 young men are going to see a very, very different look tonight from Francois and the Noles.
3rd and short. Francois sneaks it and muscles easily for the first down. They want these guys to play fast and aggressive, but Kirk, I mean, we're going to see freshmen make mistakes in a game like this, aren't we?
The challenge you have as a young linebacker is you're so amped up in a rivalry game. You've grown up thinking about this opportunity, and now it's right in front of you, and you see number 4 about 15 or 20 feet away from you. You are locked in to stop him. What they have to be careful of tonight is being too aggressive, because that's when the play action pass can hurt them from behind.
Cook. The heavy traffic and gets to midfield. Dalvin Cook mentioned growing up here in Miami. His good buddy Joe Yearby, a running back for the Hurricanes, and just an extra sense of inspiration. He's good enough against anybody, but when he gets against the Canes, you can see it in his performance how much he feels it.
You see the total yards, especially last year. A lot of that coming in the fourth quarter, Chris. And if you add all that up, it's almost 11 yards a rush in these 2 years. Think about that. Every time you touch the ball, you're carrying 11 yards.
The second down handoff. Cook accelerates. Will be stopped again just short of the marker by Jaquan Johnson. Again, 3rd and short.
See the communication on the road. It's the best way you see it all over college football. It's a young freshman himself, Landon Dickerson, tapping the center, Everly, to let him know that we're all set. Everybody has the call. Let's snap the ball. It's a very loud environment tonight.
It's an offensive coordinator's dream. 3rd and short, and again a quarterback sneak for Francois.
I think a good matchup, kind of a game within a game, will be the Canes defensive line. You know, they have switched with Manny Diaz as their new defensive coordinator from a 3-4, which they've had for the last 5 years with Al Golden, to now the traditional Miami 4-3. He brought that back, and they've got some young players up front with a lot of talent. I think the matchup up front should favor Miami.
Canes crowd the line. Francois back on 1st down and takes the short gain, the cushion over there to Kermit Whitfield.
One of the great things about Jimbo Fisher is his innovative offensive approach. He gives you, here's he's going to go tempo. So many different looks with formations and personnel groupings. It really challenges the communication of the defense.
Kermit Whitfield's in the backfield. Francois rolls out and tries to outrun a defensive lineman. Takes a big shot. Coming up there was Pat Bechtel. He was chasing.
They've got a lot of depth up there and tremendous speed. A great job of being able to bring him down at the end. Just kept him just a bit short. And there's Quarterman, the freshman linebacker, to clean it up. Remember, a couple 3rd and shorts, and they've had the sneak. This is a little bit longer. They're going to have to either get the ball to Dalvin Cook or get him on the edge.
Cook not going to get there. Instant penetration by Kendrick Norton, a big 305-pound sophomore. And then Rashawn Jenkins, the safety, cleaned it up.
Just talked about the matchup and how it could favor the Canes. Look at the separation. He just pushes Everly right back into the backfield. Great anticipation there by Kendrick Norton, expecting the ball to be handed deep into the backfield by Cook. He gets the separation and eventually gets into the backfield and blows that play up.
Fisher's going to go for it. He took a loss on that play, so it's 3rd and about 3.5. Only their 3rd attempt on 4th down this season. 2 for 2 last week. Francois batted down to the line of scrimmage, and the Canes defense makes a stand and will take over as Demetrius Jackson came off the end to break it up.
Manny Diaz rolls the dice on a big 4th down here early. Dalvin Cook wide open out in the flat. If he gets the ball over Jackson, not only do they pick up the 1st down, but the ball gets to Cook. He's maybe down the sideline for a touchdown, but the Canes get the stop.
If you watch the wildness in College Station, Texas A&M surviving in double overtime over Tennessee. Welcome to Miami. Midway 1st quarter, this Canes-Seminoles rivalry. 2nd possession for Miami. Another low but high percentage throw. Braxton Berrios made it. This was at the coin toss. You got some seniors, some leaders out there, and they were the ones, John.
Yeah, this is the coin toss. The captains. You could see Trey Marshall, 2 safeties, and on the other side from Miami, Jamal Carter, Brad Kaya trying to say, hey, fellas, let's keep our cool. But it gives you a flavor. This is Miami, Florida State.
Again, flip near side to Stacy Coley, who slipped down, the fastest man on this Miami team. Could have had some room, but Turf Monster got him, and it'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, that's one of those we talked in the open. One of the things he'll look to do tonight, the run-pass options, the RPO, and he felt that he had the leverage to the outside, got the ball into the hands of Coley, and Coley just lost his his feet, or he would have had a first down.
Kaya doesn't roll out often, but does this time, and it's a low throw trying to get it to Coley. Incomplete. That's his first incompletion. A.J. Westbrook was in coverage, and Miami will punt again.
Again, Charles Kelly dialing up the pressure. He has been under fire. You can see the energy, the emotion. There's Derwin James, who's been out, one of the leaders of this team. You can see his energy, high-fiving. He's trying to create some confidence. There's a true freshman. Coach has had enough. He is bringing the heat and playing man tonight.
High risk, high reward. We'll see how that plays out as Vogel is back for his second punt. Boomed at 63 yards the first time. This one not quite that far, and Wilson will make a fair catch at the 23. So we're seeing the Noles defense off to a much better start than they have been recently. Cook and company back to work.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
See the reconfigured Hard Rock Stadium. That roof makes it look like a soccer stadium. A nice night for flying. Goodyear providing aerial coverage no matter what route your vehicle runs. Choose Goodyear for superior performance. Goodyear, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Congratulations on the new look to this stadium.
It's cool.
It's very cool, and it is very loud. They did a heck of a job.
The downside, did you see those big screens? That costs some seats in the corner, but it's a
well worth it.
Nice fan experience. Yeah. Miami players love the increased energy in here. Noles ran 10 plays before their initial drive was stopped on 4th down. Miami shows pressure up the middle, and Francois delivers far, so they get a block on the edge and a first down gain for Whitfield.
Quick throw to the outside, another way to try to keep the Canes secondary honest and prevent them from loading up and piling up on Dalvin Cook and that running game. We touched on it just a bit there at the end of their last series, how innovative and challenging and complex Jimbo Fisher can be. And that's the thing, the communication will be a big key tonight for those young linebackers.
They've had terrific gains each time on first down. Francois running all the way behind. Cook cuts it back. You said he'd be an important part of the running game tonight. He sure was against North Carolina last week.
Yeah, and he has enough athletic ability where he makes a defensive coordinator aware of what he can do with his feet. Design quarterback run there. You get the numbers right in that boxed area. Francois is good enough of an athlete where he can pick up 10 to 15 yards.
Fisher told us that he knew Francois was a good athlete, but he's a better runner, more instinctive runner than he thought he was coming in. Empty backfield on first down. And Francois loses the ball, collects it, tries to make something of it, and will be sacked. Loses it again. And the Noles extremely fortunate to retain possession. Now they're pointing Miami's direction. They may reconsider when they get to the bottom of the pile. Bobo Wilson recovered it, but not one but 2 fumbles by the quarterback there.
Yeah, I thought he might just give up on the play and just kind of cover it. But, you know, this is him. He's still young. He's going to try to make something happen. I'll tell you, Demetrius Jackson, almost a horse collar, but he let go of it. But you can see very clearly that Bobo Wilson jumped on top of that football. But a significant loss now for a 2nd and 21.
Noles have only lost 2 fumbles this year. They flirted with a 3rd right there. A safe handoff to Cook, who is knocked down after a short gain, and that brings a roar. Miami crowds have always prized tough defenses. That's always brought the noise down here, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and I think they sense there's a different energy from this defense. And Corn Elder, they really challenged him as one of the seniors, and they say, hey, a little bit too finesse. With the style of defense we're playing, Corn, you're going to have to be more physical. Man, he is active right now in that run support. Great play by number 29.
Remember all those 3rd and half of yards? Need 18 this time. Miami has been a tremendous 3rd down defense, albeit against lesser competition the first 4 games. Gotta hurry. Just get it away. And Francois from the pocket again as the ball batted down. Second time tonight. That was R.J. McIntosh, the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale.
Well, they did a great job of showing pressure, and then they bail here. The safety bails. They only ended up rushing 3. They had at one point 7 guys up close to the line of scrimmage, but R.J. McIntosh and the rest of that defensive line gets enough of a push, and there's another example of the athletic ability, the length, and the size of Miami having an advantage against the Noles, against that offensive line.
Logan Tyler, the freshman punter, to the speedy, diminutive Braxton Berrios, and the lefty gets a low punt away. Berrios going to have a chance from the 30. Darts through and gets across the 40. So better field position for Kaya and the Canes. Scoreless late first quarter in Miami.
Chris Herbie.
Cassidy thinks the Big Orange Magic runs out, so Tennessee and Houston among 2 of the unbeaten teams to fall today.
Magic runs out, but a heck of an effort to get that game into overtime by the Vols.
2-3 announced for Miami to start this game. Third possession here. They haven't called a running play yet. Kaya flips it again, and that's Njoku, the big tight end, who's a tough matchup. But Mark Richter's calling the plays. We'll check with him in a second. But Samantha's on the Florida State sideline. What do you see different down there from the defense?
Chris, it's shockingly different on the sideline. Just incredibly communicative, demonstrative. I mean, this is a team that we barely saw communicate at all on the sideline in that game against Ole Miss and Louisville. I don't know what's gotten into them. I don't know if they had a come to Jesus moment this week, but the coaches are having a hard time, Charles Kelly, getting to the players because they're talking to each other so much. And the one guy that's kind of leading the charge, even though it is somewhat of a collective effort, is Derwin James, of course, the guy that can't even play, but is really assuming that leadership role.
Sammy, that's a great report, and I got to believe that a lot of the criticism over the first 4 or 5 weeks of their defensive coordinator, of the players individually, has really rallied them. Also playing a rival, it brings out the best in you. And I made a point of saying that the adjustment from Charles Kelly was playing more man-to-man and more blitzing. There's Nate Andrews, a senior, who has really had to fight through some injuries this first half of this season.
He's not the kind of athlete that James is. He's been trying to fill in at that position, but James, just a sophomore, one of the best players in the country, one of the best leaders they've ever had at Florida State as a sophomore, incredibly. And so the guys have felt lost for a few games, and if what Samantha said, what we've seen early from Kelly's defense is any indication, they're finally growing up. Better late than never. Canes need a yard on second down. And finally, it's a running play, and this is Yearby, who moves into FSU territory, and they will move the sticks for the first time.
You touched on something that I don't know if a lot of fans know, other than Miami fans, that Mark Richt decided to take this job. One of the first things he decided to do was roll up his sleeves and become the play caller again. Hasn't done it since like the 06 season when he was at Georgia.
And Yearby gets loose. And Dalvin Cook's high school teammate spins to the 35. He's never called him from the field, which he says for him is a lot tougher than the press box view.
I just love the fact that I think he's re-energized by taking this job, but he says he's coaching the quarterbacks, he's game planning, he's looking at film. He's no longer that CEO type of head coach.
You flip it out in the flat. This is Herndon, the tight end, who gets a block and is spun down aggressively on the far sideline. Miami crowd wanted a flag on Trey Marshall. Didn't get one.
And Mark Richt dialing up some tempo right now. You know, he had Mike Bobo there and a lot of success, and he kind of trusted his play callers. He kind of backed up and just kind of managed things. Now he is calling this game.
Yearby busts forward, and Rick told us, like everybody knows, that the Florida State's defense is bothered by tempo, and the Canes showing some of it here.
It's the first time we've really gotten a taste and a feel for it. They're mixing up the run with the throw, and when you have a veteran quarterback, you can do that. The tempo is what has caused Charles Kelly the miscommunication and the issues in the back end.
Officials conferring here.
Officials timeout.
Did Miami bring some substitutes on? We're going to talk about it. Richt is confused as to the nature of this pause.
They're over with
Officials timeout to replace the chain.
I mean, that's how fast they were going. We broke the chains.
Off the chain, as they say. No,
That's one way to slow an offense down. It's the first.
It's a good-looking drive. Moved it 40 yards very quickly. Just a minute 13. They get into scoring position. The red zone was just a terrible problem for Miami. They've converted easily against lesser defenses this season, Kirk, but against the Noles in the past, these recent losses, it's been a struggle down here.
Yeah, but I think with a new head coach, you kind of throw all those numbers away, and it's about trying to execute against this defense. Let's see if they get back to that up-tempo approach.
2nd and 5. Yearby tries to bounce it. Good penetration. And he's knocked for a loss there.
It's a great play there by the Noles defense. They're moving a bunch of different guys into this lineup right now. See them being able to get off the blocks. There's Lane coming in there to make a play.
We're rolling in guys we have not seen much of this year. Lane getting a chance to make plays. And now it's 3rd and 6.
Comes to man-to-man pressure.
Higher from the pocket, loops it in the end zone and over the head of Njoku. 4th down coming up, and he took a hit after the throw again.
Yeah, Matthew Thomas got to him. They actually delay the blitz. There's a couple of different blitzers right here. Here's Westbrook, who's going to come from here, and you're going to see a late delay that ends up actually getting home. Brad Kaya's going to wait and wait as long as he can, but Thomas, the linebacker, with great instincts, and I think he felt that. He's able to knock him down, affected that pass.
Michael Badgley from 37 yards. Very reliable junior kicker. And he knocks it right through. So Miami draws first blood late first quarter, 3-0. So many great moments. It's actually the silver anniversary of Wide Right 1 back in 81. Sorry to bring up that painful memory for Seminole fans. And there's a lot of flavor down here. I'm telling you, this is good to see this rivalry back and these two uniforms together on the field. 8-play, 39-yard field goal drive. Sunday, NFL Insiders at 10 o'clock. All the late-breaking news, what you need for your fantasy team. And then 11, the new Sunday NFL Countdown. Boomer, Trent Dilfer, Charles Woodson, Matt Hasselbeck, and Randy Moss right after kickoff. Also on the Watch ESPN app. Nobody's scored in the first quarter this year on the Hurricanes. Once again, there's that asterisk behind all the things we talk about with this team because the schedule's been one of the weakest in the country. The defense again off to an impressive start. They made a 4th down stop in the Noles' first drive, and they've been stout since then. They feed Dalvin Cook his 6th carry already, and the workhorse stopped after a short gain by Demetrius Jackson.
They gave him an option there at the line of scrimmage to run left or run right. 8, almost 9 men up at the line of scrimmage. Again, we talked about that in the open, how challenging that's been for Cook to deal with at times. He tries to look at the numbers and go to the right, but the Canes, with that speed, doing a very, very nice job of taking away the cutback lanes and pursuing the football.
Just 3.5 per carry so far for Dalvin. Final minute of the first quarter. From the pocket, Francois takes a shot but delivers a strike for a first down to Travis Rudolph, the junior. He had to stand in there and deliver, Kirk, with a man right in his mug.
That was an unbelievable effort. The pressure comes from the outside into the inside. Patchen actually gets to him, but the matchup on the outside right now, the watch, is Travis Rudolph, the junior, going up against Cornelder one-on-one. Great focus that time by Francois. Puts the ball right where his man can make a play on it.
Be the final play of the opening quarter. Just get it off, and Francois rolling, wanted to take a downfield shot, and now just fires it into the bench. Henrik Norton knocked him down, and Francois lost his helmet, is very slow to get up. No flag, but a message delivered. He's proven his toughness already this season. He's going to have to show it again tonight. 3-0, a first quarter dominated by defense. That was really close to a personal foul. Didn't call it. Back after this message. And a word from your local ABC station. That big hit on Francois to end the first quarter. Hopefully hasn't ended his night, but for now he is out of the game, Kirk, as they check out probably that shoulder there as he was slammed down by Norton. And Sean McGuire is in the game for his first action this season. A senior from New Jersey who filled in for a suspended Jameis Winston, a home field win over Clemson a couple years ago. Flips it short and behind Bobo Wilson, who does make the catch. And again, not been in there even in mop-up duty this season, but he's been preparing for this moment, hoping he's ready.
As a senior, the fact he's kept his mouth shut by getting beat out by a freshman has gained the respect that much more from his teammates. When he comes into the game, they believe in him. They put him in tough situations as a backup on Thursday's practices. His teammates believe in him. Now he's got to go out based on that preparation, as you said, as a starter, and go out and deliver. Third down is tough.
Imagine this is your first live action of the year in a very loud environment. Collects the snap, feels the pressure, and will not escape. They come right after McGuire, and Gerald Willis and Joe Jackson, two backups combining there.
Well, he wanted to go to the right with the football, but the problem he has here is two of his receivers end up running into each other off to the right here. He's looking to the right. Look out here. Two receivers run into each other, making it very tough to be able to execute, and all he can do is eat it. But again, Miami bringing the pressure and getting after the Knowles offensive line.
And those guys in orange up front, they're coming in waves. We've seen 12 guys play defensive line so far on a humid night.
Smart. Smart.
And all of them appear to be quick and fired up and athletic.
Right.
Tyler, they come after him, they bump him. There is a flag. And it was 4th and 14, so unless this is a personal foul, it won't be a first down. It appeared to be a little bit of a gentle bump, but the flag did come out. It's a 5-yard penalty, and so we'll see if the Knowles want to decline it. Manny Diaz saying, be very careful. That's Richards, a wide receiver who was coming after the punter. Good acting job by Tyler.
I was going to say, Richards has I think a pretty good case saying, man, I barely touched him.
We'll see if he chooses to re-kick, another look at it here.
5 yards. Running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
There's only a 31-yarder. They will re-kick it. The Canes have blocked a couple of punts this year. Good special teams play, a part of the 4-0 start. Arias, 11 yards in his first return. See if they come after it or try to set up the return. And what the job this Miami defense has done here so far in this game. Florida State limited to 51 total yards.
And Dalvin Cook only 21 yards so far running the football, and hasn't made a catch, which has been a big part of their adjustment over the last 2 or 3 games. Hasn't made a catch yet.
Tyler, another really low kick, bounces around. Barrios just backs away. And Kirk, that tent is getting crowded in there. Francois was being looked at. We're told that McGuire went into the tent as well after that series. You mentioned the devastation of Hurricane Matthew in the Caribbean and the damage throughout the southeast of America. If you'd like to make a pledge of support, visit redcross.org. Again, our thoughts with all those affected. The Red Cross decal being worn on the helmets of both teams tonight. Florida State's tight end, Maven Saunders. His family is from Bimini in the Bahamas, which was just ravaged, but thankfully Saunders' family came out okay. Kaya and the Canes go to work. And from the pocket, he delivers a short ball over the middle to Mark Walton. They use the backs and the tight ends a lot. A nice first down gain of 9.
Remember, Miami, the last series, went up tempo, get into the line of scrimmage, it impacted the Noles. Looks like they're going right back to that. They mixed the run with the pass. Their best drive so far.
Walton, nothing doing. Both Walton and Joe Yearby have scored a touchdown, each of them in all 4 games so far. A little tougher sledding tonight.
Well, as a run-oriented team, it's nice to have that tandem back there. The last play, boy, Derek Noddy, nice to see him healthy. Made a big play.
And on 3rd and 1, they run it again and move the 6. McGuire, by the way, is out of the 10. Good news. He was in there very briefly being checked out by the medical personnel for Florida State. But looks to be okay after the sack. And Francois, who just joining us, having his shoulder looked at as he was slammed to the ground right at the end of the first quarter. You feed Walton again. And the sophomore from Miami, a short gain. Can't overstate how tough it is for him. Yeah, he's played a lot of football. He's been in some big moments on big stages, but not this year. And now suddenly he's in the fray.
Yeah, but again, I think he's approached being the backup as a senior, wanting to express himself. I heard even this week he laid into the team, and they respect his opinion. So when he gets in there, I think it's a player that they believe in and trust.
Back on 2nd and 7. Takes a downfield shot. This is Coley, their fastest receiver, but the ball delivered outside. Samantha?
Yeah, Herbie, to your point about Sean McGuire, once he went in, after he came off after the sack, he was very calm, collected, not jumping around, just went down the line of all his skill position guys, all his O-line, gave him a little handshake like, hey, I've got this, no big deal. And that's the type of senior leadership they want to see out of your backup quarterback. Also, no word yet on DeAndre. Has stayed in the athletic training tent the entire time.
Thank you, Samantha. He got his pads off as they check the shoulder out. And Kai again fires near side into traffic, incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Malcolm Lewis. Very well covered by Levante Taylor, a true freshman.
That is a great job by Taylor. And Charles Kelly telling us this week he will play more. And the reason is he plays well in man-to-man. They're playing a ton of man-to-man. Watch him get underneath. So you can see it in frame by frame. His right hand gets in, but it was actually a really good play in real time. Gets the left hand in there to knock that ball away.
When you get compared to LaMarcus Joyner as a corner, that is high praise for a young guy. Of course, the great Knowles All-American. So Vogel, who's punted very well tonight, again drives Wilson back to the 20, and the Canes coverage team flying down there to stop him right there. They lose a yard on the return as Corn Elder, their speedy starting corner, made the play. 49-yard punt.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, brought to you by Pacific Life, helping generations of families achieve long-term financial security for over 145 years.
Old school defensive battle so far. Are you surprised?
Yeah.
I thought we'd see more points.
Yeah, and again, I think they're still kind of filling each other out. But
whether you were in the shotgun or riding shotgun, choose Goodyear for superior performance. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. So again, it's McGuire taking over. Francois still being looked at right shoulder is what they're looking at inside of that tent. Nate Andrews is getting wrapped up. The veteran looks like he's going to be good to go. They put some strapping around his right shoulder as well. Dalvin Cook hit hard as he leapt through a small crease, which closed down quickly.
I think what's happening right now, you can see him right there, just trying to, DeAndre Francois, the freshman quarterback, trying to loosen up that shoulder to see if he's going to be able to come back in this game. But Miami, I don't feel feels threatened at all by the vertical passing game. So they are playing man-to-man on the outside, and everybody else is locked in on Dalvin Cook in the running game and being aggressive at the point of attack.
And they're all over number 4, who somehow bounces free. Dalvin Cook in a foot race. And Elder able to chase him down, but a huge gain, the kind of thing that Cook has done the last 2 years to the Canes.
Yeah, this is a missed tackle here in the backfield. You can watch him when he runs right here to the left, right there. They had him tackled. It shows you the toughness and how physical Dalvin Cook can be. But it looked to me that Demetrius Jackson had him wrapped up for a loss. But when you try to tackle Dalvin Cook, there's a reason he's one of the top backs. He has such tremendous leg drive, low center of gravity. You better wrap him up or he's going to break through.
You got 54 there. That equals the entire offensive production up to that point for Florida State. Jaquez Patrick is spelling Cook, and he's a physical 230-pound sophomore, knocked down for a short gain.
Ironically, I just talked about how they're playing man-to-man and everybody else is attacking the running game with Dalvin Cook. When you play that, that's kind of that high-risk, high-reward defense. You're going to get a lot of negative plays. You're going to get a lot of short gains. And if you don't make a tackle at the line of scrimmage, you've got 8 or 9 guys up there to stop him. And if he breaks free, there's nobody left to stop him, and he's able to pick up 54 yards.
Elder showed his speed to track him down, force him out. Knowles on the edge of the red zone here, 2nd and 8. McGuire fires, intercepted, picked off by the Canes. Jaquan Johnson was standing right there, and McGuire delivered in his chest.
He does a good job of just reading the eyes of the quarterback, Sean McGuire. He's sitting back here, and watch him read the eyes. And I believe the linebacker right there actually affected that Quarterman. Shaq Quarterman, 55, got his hands on the ball. Talk about concentration from Johnson. That ball is tipped and then caught by Johnson, the sophomore, who Manny Diaz says he is one of the toughest guys on this team. One of the kind of a scrappy guy at that time, showing the athletic ability to make that play.
Another local kid, Kirk. The nickelback makes a pick. Francois got his shoulder pads back on. That's a good sign. But Kaya taken over after the game's first turnover. It's Yearby, the back in the I formation. They feed it to him. And Joe Yearby is hammered, met right at the line of scrimmage by Ame. And Wally drives him back.
They're rotating a lot of bodies, just like what we've seen. You see him in the backdrop, 94. Boy, he just does a good job of being able to get off the potential block by Casey McDermott. Uses that athletic ability. And Chris, you talked about Miami rotating a lot of bodies, seeing the same thing from Florida State. I think they feel that same humidity that we feel, and it could be the battle of the fittest here by the time we get to the 4th quarter.
Man, it is sweltering down there, isn't it? Not a breath of wind in the stadium. Kaya on a slant. Complete, and that's the freshman, Amon Richards. Big potential for this guy. Very quick learner, and they think he's going to be a star.
Tavares McFadden, who's been picked on at times this year, he can't give away the inside. Make the young freshman go to the outside. That time too easy for Kaya.
And now Kaya delivers to Coley near side. Stutter step. Lowers the shoulder near midfield. Another first down.
And the play before McFadden gave away the quick slant. That time with a soft cushion. Another easy throw. This is where the experience and the vision of Brad Kaya can come into play. They're going at a breakneck speed here, but he's staying very, very calm on how he's trying to pick apart the Knowles secondary.
Yearby cuts it back in a quick burst. Yearby spinning for 11 yards, and the Canes with tempo moving the ball again.
Boy, how about the vision here? This play looks like it's going to go off to the right. Yearby puts his foot in the ground right there and is able to feel that and cut back. Nice job of reading that and feeling the defense overflowing.
Not much room. A quick cut, and Yearby dancing for a short gain. They get just inside field goal range for Badgley, who's an excellent kicker, but they're thinking 7 here.
Charles Kelly and the Knowles defense has to be saying, okay, we've seen this from Ole Miss. We've seen this from Lamar Jackson and Louisville. We saw this last week from Mitch Trubisky in North Carolina. Now you'll see the adjustments from the Knowles to see if they're ready for this up-tempo.
Kaya On another slant, Barrios had his hands on it, broken up nicely by Marquez White, who's done a steady job at corner.
Yeah, and I can't tell if White got his hand on the ball or if it just went off the face mask there of Barrios. And just right off the hands. Ball is perfectly thrown out in front of the receiver. He just drops it. Again, able to beat the Florida State defense to the inside. Much easier throw for the quarterback, Brad Kaya, on those quick slants and posts.
They need 8 on 3rd down. Knowles rush 4. Kaya retreats. It's a screen look. Flips it up to Walton, who's got a convoy of blockers. Walton busts into the secondary. Cuts it back. Brought down near the 10. You could see it coming, but it was hard to stop.
I think Nate Andrews, you got to give him credit for trying to be out there, but watch 29 trying to stay up with this to try to make a play. He's playing with one arm out there trying to defend the play.
It's a 27-yard gain. The Canes ran right down, and this is what's given FSU's defense problems, isn't it, Kirk? Tempo inside the red zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ball start. Offense. Number 3.
How about Nate Andrews, by the way?
Prior to the ball being snapped.
Tried to play too fast. It cost him 5 yards.
You go back to Nate Andrews here, who's trying to get involved. He needs to be there to be able to defend this. He's nowhere to be seen because he's playing. He can't even run. His shoulder is in such pain. Nice job of the lineman getting downfield, but there was nobody there to block because Matthew Thomas was taken out of it. He was blocked, and Nate Andrews just couldn't stay up with the play of Walton.
And Nate's a tough guy, but he's not the fastest runner under any circumstances.
He's out of the lineup now.
1st and 15. 3 receivers to the left for Kaya. They throw it, and the catch is made, but it's a loss. Hammered immediately as Richards. And Tavares McFadden, he's had a rough last few games. Been a nice play there.
Yeah, but he recognized with the 3 receivers there that 2 of them were going to block, and he reacted so quickly. The Miami wide receivers had no chance to block him. That was great reaction. And you're right, we've been tough on McFadden at times because he's had some struggles. But that gives you an indication of his potential and athletic ability. 6'2", about 198 pounds, very long, highly touted, big-time recruit. He's just still kind of feeling his way. That time he made a quick read.
5-yard penalty, 4-yard loss, so it's 2nd and 19. They got to get to the 2 for a 1st down. Kaya in traffic. Walton had it knocked away. It was a risky throw because there were Seminoles all over the place. It'll be 3rd and long.
They're trying to hide Walton with a little slip screen, trying to get those linebackers to think that Walton is actually blocking and try to get them involved in the pass rush. But even if he was able to hold on to this, as you said, Chris, there are a boatload of defenders there. Not only Hoskins, but this defensive lineman felt that play as well.
DeMarcus Christmas thought he maybe had a gift there.
No doubt. That would have been it. Yeah, I got you.
3rd and 19.
That would have been an interesting run there with that gift if he caught it.
It's Kaya got in 3rd and very long. Again, got to get to the 2. There's a shot for the end zone. This is Coley, grabs it. No signal, out of bounds. Incomplete. Terrific throw. Taylor, the freshman, covering the veteran who couldn't get his feet down.
Boy, this is going to be an interesting look. The left leg looked like it may have been down. Watch his left foot as he catches the ball. Is it down? That's the one question.
Ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under review.
The right foot clearly
out of bounds. The right foot's out. Yeah. I was just. This will be an interesting look. The left foot. Let's see when it. Stop it. That's a touchdown.
Dave Katara is a rules expert, Dave. They're taking a look at this. Joe Ryder is the replay official.
Good comment by Herbie because it looks to me like he gets possession of the ball right here. Watch the foot. There's the ball. There's the foot. This is going to be a touchdown, in my opinion.
The crowd thinks so. The Canes bench thinks so. Remember that not just Joe Ryder, but the folks at the ACC headquarters in Greensboro. It's collaborative replay, and they're communicating in real time. So they're watching in Greensboro. Joe Ryder's watching in a booth not far from us.
Boy, that was a bang-bang play. It's easy to get caught up in the right foot, but as the left foot, it was still down when he possessed the ball.
How about the throw by Kaya?
Oh, yeah. And the matchup, he took a shot man-to-man. The Knowles played straight across man-to-man. Taylor made some great plays earlier, but he trusts Stacy Coley, a senior, to be able to be at the right spot, put it right to the outside where only his guy could make a play on it. Perfectly thrown ball by Brad Kaya.
And again, Dave, in your view, that's indisputable evidence to turn over the call of incomplete?
It is, because you can see possession with that foot down. It doesn't take an eternity, just possession.
How big is this swing? If it's a touchdown, 10-0. If not, it's a pretty lengthy field goal attempt for Badgley.
This is a really, really big swing for a Florida State team that's been battle tested. They've been through a lot in the first month of the season. And then a big rivalry game where they're playing pretty well. If this comes up a touchdown, all of a sudden you're down 10.
Defense that came out inspired, a couple of 3-and-outs to start the game. They've still limited Miami to only 124 yards. Coley said, come on, fingers crossed. Give it to me. I had that toe down. And it's a long review and tells you that they're closely looking at it, maybe even debating it. One more look.
It's a tough, I mean, it's a really tough one.
Ball in hands right now, and the toe just touching the ground?
Yeah, I think so.
To me, it's a touchdown.
It's close, but it's a touchdown in my eyes.
And since it's a consensus, it'll be incomplete.
Watch the divot. He does. You can see the divot comes up. Well, it's hard to predict with certainty what the booth, and in this case, Greensboro will do.
Never know.
There's that divot. You can see the foot touching, and they may be looking at everything. They may be looking at the grass.
They're getting some good looks.
Here's Dwayne Haight.
After review, the receiver's left foot was in bounds when the ball was possessed. Touchdown.
A tremendous throw by Kaya. A 21-yard acrobatic catch by Coley, the senior, his 5th of the season, and the Canes a point away from a double-digit lead.
It was spectacular on both ends. Third down throw by Brad Kaya. And Stacy Coley, a guy who has been through a lot in his career at Miami, wants to put it all together his senior year. Heck of an effort to extend and keep that foot down and come up with a touchdown.
And Badgley makes it 72 consecutive points after touchdown. A third and 19 touchdown.
How about the effort? A great throw. Brad Kaya was in rhythm. That's a big thing for him. He gets back. He feels comfortable. And right now he is in command of this offense. Puts the ball where only Coley can make the play. And the Canes are up 10.
The boss narrating glory days of this rivalry. Miami hoping for a breakthrough win, up by 10. They've been here before, though, a couple of years ago here. Let's go to Samantha Ponder for the latest on Francois' condition.
Yep, Chris, he's coming back in here. No doubt he is nowhere near 100% dealing with that right shoulder injury. I saw him in warm-ups. He actually had a long time to warm up because of how long that drive lasted. And he looked pretty good in terms of velocity, but the grimace on his face, his body language, it is clear he is playing in a lot of pain. Assistant coaches went up to the offensive line right before he ran out right there and said, take care of your quarterback. They know what's at stake here.
And Sammy, it's interesting. It's his throwing shoulder to keep an eye on, and also he's athletic. He's had success tonight running the football. Does that element go away from how they attack this defense from Miami?
You're right, Kirk. That's a great point. They should be pretty cautious, you'd think. Putting the quarterback in harm's way. Delivers a throw near side, a short game. They haven't taken anything approaching a downfield shot yet, have they?
No, they have not, and I don't think they can get downfield. This is the big hit here by Norton. All that weight, 305 pounds, coming down on top of him in that shoulder. I thought he might, when you see a hit like that, a lot of times you're shocked to see a guy come back the same game, but see how he holds up here now that he's back in the lineup.
And once again, a familiar position. The Noles face a deficit, a double-digit deficit in the first half. 4th time this year. Francois well protected, but the ball's batted down. He's actually had 2 comebacks of 20-plus points in the first month of his career. Right. Some quarterbacks go a whole lifetime don't do that.
It's all downhill from here.
They lost last week, but he brought him back and took the lead.
I'll tell you, this defensive line, I know you and everybody's got to be impressed with the youth and the depth here. That time, Demetrius Jackson, who's been active tonight, Big number 31, a sophomore at 6'3", 265 pounds, right out of Miami. Jumps up, times it up perfectly. Remember, Francois is 6'2". And that time, Jackson just knocked that ball away.
Every one of those linemen, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", big athletic dudes up front for the Canes, shades of the old days. Francois needs 8 on 3rd down. They do bring pressure. Well protected again in a first down delivery on the far side. So Whitfield, that answers some questions, that long throw.
But when you bring the blitz, it wasn't just a linebacker, but they also brought men from the secondary. It creates a nice soft cushion behind that. Nice job with Francois, the shoulder, everything he's dealing with. Gets the ball out into the flat where that blitz came from to Whitfield, and they pick up the first down. Great poise and toughness there by the freshman.
And that offensive line is heeding the warnings of protecting the quarterback so far. They got 16 yards on 3rd and 8. Again, Kane showing pressure. Francois gets it away, batted in the air, and almost intercepted. It's incomplete. In coverage there, that was Rayshawn Jenkins who got his hand on the ball.
Well, watch the linebackers again. They are not slowing down. It's the freshman again, Shaq Quarterman. They say he's kind of an alpha for a freshman, and Kareem R. just no chance to slow him down. Florida State very fortunate that that ball was not intercepted. Great reaction by Rayshawn Jenkins to get his hands on that ball and knock it up into the air.
That's big old Gerald Willis, defensive lineman, that took a dive at it. And the stretch play to Cook, and the Canes string it out. He does well to fight back to the line of scrimmage.
That's how you set the edge. They've heard all week. Watch the cutback with Dalvin Cook. His vision. Take away all the gaps. Look at this. They set the edge. They get penetration again by Norton. Great effort there by Johnson, who is held, but he keeps contained. He forces Cook back to the inside where there's 7 or 8 orange jerseys running to that football.
And they rotate fresh bodies into that defensive line for this 3rd and 10.
Well, this defense is playing with confidence right now.
Come after Francois again, gets good protection and delivers downfield, making a nice recovery to knock the ball away as Elders had a big first half.
I love Manny Diaz's approach tonight. They've been blitzing and playing man all night. Now they get him to 3rd down. He drops the zone. Watch Corn Elder. He is playing in the flat, but he sinks. And watch the effort here. He's just reading the eyes, does a good job of extending and knocking that away.
How good was that?
Playing zone, reading the eyes, and the athletic ability, one of the most underrated corners in the country this year, Corn Elder.
That was a full layout. Get back to that ball. Wow. Logan Tyler's been busy. Barrios watches it sail over his head and into the end zone. So Brad Kaya off that terrific touchdown throw in the last series. Back to work. Miami up 10-0. Big night on ESPN Tuesday at 10 Eastern. The Undefeated presents a conversation with the president. Sports, race, and achievement. 1 hour forum with President Obama from the campus of North Carolina A&T State. Stan Verrett will host 10 o'clock Eastern, and also on the Watch ESPN app. So Miami with a 10-0 lead. Back on offense from the 20. Running game hasn't really busted loose so far. It's been Kaya, efficient and effective throwing, and now breaking loose. This is the freshman Amon Richards. Sidesteps a man, still going into FSU territory. There's a wily play there.
He's able to make the play, but watch number 7, who's moved over. This is the first time he's played defense, Ramon Lane. He's going to the middle. He looks confused. So once the ball is caught here by Richards, there's nobody there because Ramon Lane, who's kind of just feeling his way right now, moving over from receiver to defensive back.
38 yards for Richards, and now Kaya takes another downfield shot, threw it into traffic. Barrios and Coley were in the area, and a flag comes in on coverage. That was Marquez White guarding Barrios.
And again, it's another example of a defensive back never seeing the football, never turning back to look for the ball. And if there's any contact at that point, it's going to be pass interference on the defense. He never turned around.
You saw a shot of Charles Kelly, and after a terrific start to this game, as we check it out again, exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, you can see at the very last second he tries to turn around, and his point was Berrios is engaging with me, but the problem is if you don't turn your head around and locate the football.
Defense, number 27.
All right, that 15-yard penalty, Kirk. It's going to move it inside the 30.
Personal foul, face mask, offense. That 15-yard penalty will also be enforced. First down.
Wow, so a dead ball, personal foul on Miami.
I think that was on Berrios at the end of the play.
Let's check it again. Watch at the end.
At the end, after the interference, there's the pass interference. Now, he just throws him to the ground. That's actually a really good catch by the official to see that right hand.
That's why there was a whole bunch of laundry on the field. It wasn't just the interference.
That was what he was actually arguing.
Here's Dwayne Haight. They're still sorting things out. They moved the ball after the initial penalty to the 27. Now they have to march it back 15.
Now it's dead ball. Now you move it back after the interference.
That's a break for Florida State, Kirk. But let's talk about the importance of the next 2:47 before halftime and not falling farther behind. You've seen Francois, your quarterback, get knocked around. He's playing in a lot of pain, and this is a team that's felt a lot of pain in the first 5 games.
I mean, it's not to say that they can't come back if they get down by 17, but everything that they've been through, you wonder about how fragile they are emotionally, and I know Mark Richt senses that. This is a big opportunity for his offense to be able to try to jump up on this Knowles team.
That's 1st and 10 after the 2 penalties, and Kaya from the pocket again looks downfield for Coley again. One-on-one coverage and a diving attempt off his hands.
Now Kyle Myers, a true freshman, left out there on an island, and much like Levante Taylor, who's a true freshman for Florida State, they have confidence they'll leave him out there one-on-one. Actually pretty good coverage there.
Terrific play.
Yeah.
How about that? Miami's best and fastest receiver, the progressive pylon cam showing you the play that was made by Kyle Myers. Canes are playing fast. And there's a short gain. They throw to Njoku. We're seeing guys we haven't seen a lot this year because of the intensity of this game, the tempo, the humidity perhaps. Coaches are trusting a lot of guys. Responsibility tonight.
Yeah, you have to. And at this point in the season, you've worked and worked and worked, and now it's a matter of trying to get out there in games and see what you can do. It's a pivotal 3rd down.
Yeah, they need 6. Borderline field goal range for Badgley, and Miami will spend a timeout. They had plenty of time on the play clock.
30-second timeout.
But Richt wants to check things out here. He knows the importance of this 3rd down play, as you said. Monday Night Football, NFC South matchup. Jameis and the Buccaneers. I bet you Jameis is watching us tonight. Cam Newton, of course, knocked in the head. See his status. It's 6 o'clock Eastern for Monday Night Countdown. 8:15 for the game. Jameis tormented this Miami Hurricanes team in a couple of victories. So if you're Mark Richt and you're back calling plays for the first time in 7-8 years, you got a 3rd down and 6. What do you expect from the defense? What do you call?
Well, I think you're going to see man-to-man. Florida State's been in man-to-man most of the night, trusting their corners to hold up, and you got to come up with a man beater. You either a crossing route or you get the ball downfield to Coley and your experienced receivers. But Mark Richt has got to feel very, very good with the entire effort, the offense, defense, special teams, every aspect, to get back into this rivalry again. It's been fun to watch the emotions of this game. There's the man-to-man I talked about, Chris.
And they hand it off. Walton trying to drag tacklers. Terrific effort, but he's 2 yards short of a 1st down. Matthew Thomas stopped him. And here comes the kicker. Michael Badgley will come out. Wonder if Rick thought about it for a second.
Yeah, I was surprised that Jimbo Fisher wouldn't call a timeout. 3 remaining, just to save himself and his offense a little bit of time. Whether they make this field goal or not, Miami's just going to work the clock down. Mark Richt, in fact, is out there. He might be waiting for this play clock to go all the way down and then wants to call his own timeout. I thought Jimbo may call a timeout, save some time.
You mentioned the leg of Badgley that impressed you in warm-up. He has kicked a 57-yarder. That was a year ago against Georgia Tech. This is from 51. And Rick will spend a timeout. Noles defense that did a nice job to rise up and prevent this from becoming a 7-point drive.
They did it. Again, without calling that timeout, you call that timeout, it's right about at the 2-minute mark. Now you're at a minute 20, you still have all 3 timeouts.
Rick, of course, who played quarterback at Miami, but there was some talent ahead of him on the depth chart. Can you believe this? Kelly, of course, Testaverde, and Kozar, all coached by Earl Morrall, the former NFL great. It's no wonder old number 9 didn't see a lot of action, but that, can you believe that? In one roster?
One school.
15 years at Georgia, a couple SEC titles, 7 top 10 finishes. Before that, part of 2 Florida State national championship teams in '93 and '99. Grew up in Boca Raton, just up the coast. So Badgley, after the timeout from 51 to make it a 13-point lead. Drives it low and knocks it through. That cleared the crossbar by 20 feet.
I mean, he's got to have one of the strongest legs in the country. You mentioned the 57-yarder he's made earlier in his career against Georgia Tech, but I was watching him in warm-ups kicking them from 57. They were going halfway up.
Yeah, look at this one. Look how high up in the crossbar this was. Way up in the net from 51. There's no wind in here. They've closed this place in. It's not a windy net anyway, but it's far less of a factor than it used to be since they put this roof on.
Talked about Florida State's defense kind of bowing up there and getting the stop. Miami gets the 3, so they're up 13. But with a minute 16 to go and 3 timeouts, see how DeAndre Francois works to 2 minutes, something that Jimbo Fisher takes a lot of pride in with his offense.
Noles deferred, so they'll get the ball to begin the second half. And we've been here before, haven't we, Kirk? The Noles in a deficit, trying to create a spark before halftime, trying to create some momentum. It certainly happened in the comeback win in Orlando against Ole Miss. Badgley pumped up after the field goal, drives the ball out of the end zone. The All-State good hands play.
Got to go with the Miami defense. We saw this earlier tonight. Nice job of focusing on the football there by Johnson to make the pick after the tip ball by Quarterman. And there's Corn Elder extending himself on a big 3rd down and not letting Travis Rudolph get his hands on the ball.
Elder also made the play chasing down Cook to save a touchdown, and the Canes got that pick right after that. Made a big play on special teams. So number 29, a strong first half. The senior from
Nashville, Tennessee. Great high school basketball player, too. Could have played basketball, too.
How adventurous will Jimbo Fisher be here as they again attend to that chain, that troubled chain on the far side?
Yeah, really. He's got to be aggressive. He's got 3 timeouts. His quarterback's been put in this situation. Like I said, he takes pride in this. I think Travis Rudolph, who only has 1 catch, he's your go-to guy. He's got to be able to make plays. He's got to get separation here. You got to help your quarterback out.
And good protection. Whitfield has been the weapon down the middle. Terrific catch. Beat Jenkins, and they're in Miami territory.
There's no reason to panic here. The ball's already across midfield. Like I said, Florida State, they work really, really hard on this throughout the year, especially on Thursdays during game week. And they go good against good.
28 yards for the birthday boy, Kermit Whitfield, his 5th catch tonight. Now Francois chased, gets away, and even on a bad shoulder, he's rumbling into the secondary, slides down inside the 30, 53 seconds left.
That's a great job, despite the injured shoulder, recognizing the man-to-man coverage underneath. Nobody there to account for the quarterback. He has all that grass, and he picks up significant yards for Florida State.
Now they've moved it 43 yards in 2 plays. Now it's Miami spending a defensive timeout here to regroup. How big would this be if Fisher's offense, after a very lackluster first half, would find the end zone?
Watch the defense here. Watch how they're playing, and watch how this area opens up for Francois. He just kind of feels this. He senses it. Right there, you've got man-to-man, and nobody here to pick him up. I wondered if I knew he'd recognize it, but would he be willing to go with the shoulder? He has great instincts there to be able to take off and pick up those yards and then slide and avoid the contact. talked about how Jimbo Fisher prides himself on the 2-minute offense. There was nothing better than when Jameis Winston was at Florida State watching them go up against LaMarcus Joyner and Telvin Smith on a Thursday practice.
He's had a couple of sneaks, but Kirk, that's the 4th time that Francois moved the chains with a running play tonight. They still have all 3 timeouts. Canes showing some pressure. Francois trying to point out the blitzers. He's got time, and he delivers, almost intercepted. The receiver over there fell down, and Rashawn Jenkins almost had a pick.
It was Travis Rudolph who was trying to get the ball to, but great recognition of the blitz. Offensive line does a good job of holding up despite that blitz, and where he threw that football, Travis Rudolph would have been cutting out, cutting out of that break, and would have been able to pick up another first down.
Rudolph with just 1 catch tonight for 10 yards.
Remember, Dalvin Cook also an option out of the backfield.
Francois looks inside, and a screen pass. Wilson trying to bounce free, but he'll be dropped for a loss. That play was snuffed out early. Trent Harris on the tackle, and Pinckney, one of those freshman linebackers, was there too, Kirk.
I cannot say enough about Shaq Quarterman and Michael Pinckney, 2 true freshman middle linebackers doing a heck of a job of using their eyes and letting those eyes take them to the football.
You called Quarterman the alpha. Pinckney is kind of a vocal, little cocky guy. He got the gag order this week. Rick says, yeah, that's enough out of you. He's a little full of himself after 4 games. But hey, he's backed it up tonight so far.
Yeah, they said he's got the big personality of the trio.
Well, the BMW halftime report, Stan Verrett, Mark May, and Mac Brown. Have you check out all the highlights there? It was a wild one. The Aggies over the Volunteers in double overtime. Buckeyes got a battle from Indiana today.
Yeah, they did. Ended up pulling away. You know, this
see Ohio State next week at Wisconsin, by the way.
Say in these situations, this is where in the past 4 or 5 years you've had a Kelvin Benjamin, a big wide receiver, a Rashad Green, somebody that can make a play. Who is that guy on this team that can make those plays?
We need 12 on 3rd down. And with the crowd roaring, the Canes rush 5. Francois delivers a strike for a first down, far sideline. Bobo Wilson.
Heck of a route. We just said, who's that guy? Bobo Wilson is the guy right here. Look at him be able to take Colbert and push him well past the first downer. Because of the route, he felt threatened downfield. That's what created such a soft spot there where he was able to make that throw underneath, and he gets out of bounds as well.
Colbert, a senior, trying to fight back off a knee injury. Missed a couple of games earlier this season. 27 seconds, 2 timeouts. Knowles nearing the red zone as Francois takes a huge shot, delivers incomplete in the end zone. Flying in was Jenkins on the blitz. Francois slow getting up.
They disguised this and came very, very late. Jenkins is hidden right back here, and this is a long way to come from for the senior, and it cleans up. Dalvin Cook doesn't pick him up. I think he was surprised by how far back Jenkins came. Boy, we have seen this young quarterback take some vicious shots in the first 5 weeks.
Talk about a running start. He ran like 20 yards to get there. 21 seconds now. They feed Cook, who's got a crease.
There's a timeout right there.
They'll spend a timeout. That was a good tackle by Jaquan Johnson, who had the pick earlier, because it looked like Cook had a line to the end zone.
Like that call when you have 2 timeouts. You catch the defense off guard a little bit. They're anticipating they're going to throw the ball. And that is a great effort once again by Johnson, who came up with the interception. If Johnson doesn't make that play, he is walking into the end zone. Again, great call because there's not a huge risk there by Jimbo Fisher. The reason is you have the 2 timeouts. So
we're seeing the grit once again of DeAndre Francois. we've seen them in this situation before. I think the difference between having to settle for 3 or getting 7 is obviously enormous. And again, they get the football to start the second half.
Yeah, that's a pivotal thing, and I think it affects how Jimbo Fisher's looking to attack these guys. At this point, you've got the ball down to the 13-yard line on 3rd down, and you still have a timeout remaining.
Third and 3. Francois from the pocket for the end zone, just overthrown as Wilson went slamming into the wall. No chance to make a play. It's 4th down.
Yeah, the ball is thrown late, and Adrian Colbert does a good job of forcing Bobo Wilson to the inside. He wanted to try to run the route to the outside, but that's what he's saying. You're late. You got to make that decision quicker and maybe even come off of Bobo Wilson and try to find somebody else.
So Ricky Aguayo, who's 6 for 6 in his young career inside of 40, but he missed 3 last week against Carolina from 45, 52, and 45. Got plenty of calls this week of support from his big brother, the All-American Roberto. This one 31. And he does slide it through. So a 62-yard drive in 8 plays when 1:06. The Noles on the board finally.
Part of DeAndre Francois' growth as a freshman is seeing things like this. He wants to be able to try to run this route to the outside, but a good job right here by Colbert forcing him back inside. And the reason that's important is you have a safety over there to help him out, but he runs out of real estate. That decision needs to be made quicker. You can see he's looking off to the left and then just comes back quickly, and that play really never had a chance. Jimbo talking to him about that.
So this for the offensive line, which was getting their quarterback hit a lot early. Since Francois has come back into the game with that right shoulder, did a pretty good job keeping the Canes rush away from him for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were blitzing him, coming after him.
Total yards in this first half, 192 for the Seminoles, 191 for the Hurricanes. But Miami has been opportunistic. The one interception by McGuire, who came in relief when they were checking out Francois' shoulder. That was huge after Cook had set him up with a 54-yard run. And now with 6 seconds before halftime, you figure that Brad Kye is just going to take a knee.
Oh, yeah.
Strong performance by the Canes in the first 30 minutes here at home.
Everybody wondered. Miami is beaten up on teams like Florida A&M and FAU. They played Georgia Tech and really had not been tested the way they would be tested tonight, and a lot of people were anxious to see how they might respond in a rivalry game with such young players on both sides of the ball. New head coach, were they for real? With 30 minutes to go, but I think they've done a nice job of sending a pretty good message, up 13-3 here in the half.
Kaya 14 of 21. The big play, of course, to Coley, giving a touchdown on the replay reversal. Noles will get the ball to start the second half, but it's 13-3 Miami, up 10 at the break. Sam will speak with Jimbo Fisher, but after these messages. Welcome back to Hard Rock Stadium and ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, and a presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Brad Kye and the Canes a 10-point cushion at halftime, trying to end a 6-year skid against their rivals. But we've seen this before, a 23-7 lead here 2 years ago. They had the lead late at Tallahassee, Kirk, last year. Couldn't finish either time. So the big question among all these fans in Orange tonight, can they finish tonight, or are we going to see more Seminole resilience?
Well, I think that's what's interesting about this situation. You have Miami saying, hey, guys, new year, new era with Mark Richt, different outcome. And you're Florida State, and you can almost hear Jimbo Fisher saying, guys, do your job. We're not out of this. Let's get back into this. We're getting the ball ball to start this second half. We're going to go down and score. We're right back in this thing, and it's a one-possession game. So both coaches are saying the right things and trying to push the right buttons. Long way to go in this football game with still 30 minutes to go.
DeAndre Francois fighting through some severe shoulder pain. That right throwing shoulder, he was slammed down hard in this game. McGuire came in and spelled him through a crucial interception in the first half. Francois got a whole bunch of treatment and is back out there hoping that Dalvin Cook can spark this second half comeback.
He has got to be the most battle-tested quarterback so far in the country. I don't think anybody's been hit as much as Francois.
Whitfield. A flag comes out as he's knocked down at the 27. A couple of flags. He's played barely a month in his college career. You're right. He's taken enough punishment for an entire season.
During the return, block in the back, number 85 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's only the second penalty on the Seminoles. Our Pacific Life game summary. The defensive first half.
We just talked
Francois getting driven down here.
Yeah, we just talked about Francois being challenged. It's a big turnover by Johnson. The Gate got the ball back to Brad Kaya. It's a heck of a play that they actually reviewed. Coley got his left foot down for the touchdown, and Brad Kaya feeling good. That was a great throw and a great catch by the veterans.
But the penalty on the return backs the Noles up to the 11-yard line. Crowd has been on its feet throughout this game tonight. Great energy for this Miami defense to draw upon. He's back off. It's a keeper for the quarterback. Boy, you got to grit your teeth, play in pain, and take a shot from big R.J. McIntosh.
Well, again, the athletic ability along with the size is incredible. It's a twist up front. You see them move right up here. Watch the quickness and ability to kind of catch that offensive line off guard. In fact, Norton did a good job of occupying the center, Ellerby, and it made it easy for McIntosh to shoot that gap.
Dean's asking for even more noise. Francois stands and delivers a short ball. Wilson picks up about 3. Sheldrick Redwine on the tackle. Third down coming up.
Manny Diaz, the new defensive coordinator that Mark Richt brought in, has got to be very, very proud of this defense and the effort that they're playing with. He told us this week, this is all about reestablishing an identity at the U, playing fast, playing physical. It's about effort, physicality. That's exactly what we've seen from them in this first half.
Dalvin Cook back in the game now to the right of Francois on 3rd and 6. Tipped again at the line. Is that 4 or 5 times the Canes have gotten a hand on the football?
They're just reading the eyes of Francois. The linemen have had their success, but this time it's the linebacker, Pinckney. Watch 56. He's just kind of spying, just sitting there in coverage. Does a great job of getting up. You can see the open receiver behind him, but times it up again perfectly to bat that ball away.
What do you think of the job? Pinckney, Porterman, and McLeod, those 3 true freshmen, they all came in early. They came in mid-season of their senior high school year and prep, but incredibly well prepared, aren't they?
Their eyes have not disappointed them or led them in a wrong direction.
Barrios hit very quickly and slammed down to the 44. Now a flag comes in where the tackle was made. Stephen Gabbard was there. It's the first Noles 3 and out tonight, by the way, Kirk.
During the return, block in the back, number 21, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Terrence Henley, that penalty is going to spoil field position. Sam?
Yeah, you guys were just talking about this Miami defense and how different they've looked out there tonight, especially under Manny Diaz. And that's what Mark Richt talked to me about, raving in my halftime interview with him about how much his players are showing that they care. Obviously they care because it's a rivalry game, but just full effort out there, the kind of thing you want to see, especially from a first-year defensive coordinator here like Manny Diaz. Some bad news, though, on the other side for Florida State's defense. Nate Andrews out for the game officially with a right shoulder injury.
Yeah, he was trying to battle through pain, Sam. Great point on that Miami defense. Canes offense back to work is a first down handoff to Yerby.
One thing off of Sam's report there, you know, I think one of the things that was,
excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's one of the things that was most disappointing in the last 5 years with Al Golden. If you talk to Miami Hurricane fans, it was the defense. I mean, that's what this program is. Many quarterbacks as they've had come through here and receivers. The defense is the backbone of this program. That's what they're trying to bring back.
And there's the freshman again. Amon Richards on the slant out near midfield. You knew they'd make mistakes because they're young, but Diaz just wanted them to play, tackle well, play physical, play hard.
Absolutely. Here's Hoskins, bites on the play action, opens it up nicely.
Here comes the tempo again. A throw outside, and coming back to make the catch was Coley. There's a flag. Kaya was slammed down, and penalty.
Number 6, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Matthew Thomas got him up at the helmet. And they're going to review whether he targeted the head.
Well, he's a defenseless player. And the contact from Thomas was definitely up high. And we'll just have to see if it's the initial contact. 6 Thomas against Kaya. Where does he hit him first? Ooh.
It was right off the helmet of Kaya after he'd thrown the ball.
That's a what?
And that's what the replay booth Joe Ryder is looking at right now in collaboration
here's a good
with
look
Greensboro. Dave, how did you see this?
I see it as targeting.
Oh, yeah.
Herbie said he's defenseless. The hit is up in the head, doesn't require the crown. I think they're going to confirm this.
I agree.
Right here, you're going to see it right there.
Right there. That's the initial hit from time. This is going to be a significant loss for Florida State. Matthew Thomas, one of the leaders of this defense from Miami. You can imagine how fired up he is to play in this game.
After review, the foul for targeting is confirmed. Player number 6 is disqualified from the game.
Yeah. So they lose one of their better linebackers, and the ball is moved 15 yards now inside the FSU 35.
Don't forget, he'll be out the next game for the first half, and that is against North Carolina.
Actually, it's the Canes who play North Carolina next.
Yep.
Yeah. Thomas with some words for his teammates as he heads out.
Yeah.
And straight ahead to the 31 is Walton. You don't love to see this when a guy does a victory lap and a tomahawk chop after a targeting foul.
You see a lot of that. The players get charged up emotionally, and now I think he showed his true emotions. I said Florida State playing North Carolina, you're right?
Yeah.
They play Wake Forest, so he'll be out first half of that next game.
Kaya in the pocket delivers. Coley running free, and now just tackled at the 12-yard line by Lewis, who saved the touchdown. But the Canes threatening again.
This is a really well-designed play here. Kaya has time, puts the ball right there, and the tight end Herndon took the linebacker to open it up.
Once again, tempo. Once they get down close, they are trying to play as fast as possible. Put stress on that defense.
Number 3, lining up in the neutral zone on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
It's the second time they've gotten down close in the red zone, tried to play with tempo, and a wide receiver has committed a 5-yard penalty.
He was just lined up off sides. And he had plenty of time to get lined up there. He's a senior and a leader for this offense. And, man, it just not only is it a 5-yard penalty, but the up-tempo scheme, you've got Florida State trying to get lined up right. They're not even getting lined up when they're snapping the ball, and then 5-yard penalty, and you slow down your momentum.
Exactly. Look what a breather it gives the defense, a chance to get reorganized here. It's 1st and 15. Kaya flips it out quickly in the flat, and it's juggled and dropped by freshman Richards.
There's the run-pass option where there are 3 receivers, only 2 defenders. He could run the ball or pull it out and throw it. He felt that he had the matchup to the outside. That time the young freshman receiver Richards just not able to hold on to it. Probably started to get his eyes up to look to see where he wanted to run before he secured the football. See if Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator from Florida State, sits back or dials up pressure and plays man-to-man. They've had more success tonight bringing pressure and playing man.
They don't bring pressure. Kaya's well protected. Takes an end zone shot. Dangerous throw, and it's intercepted. McFadden came back and took it away from the freshman. A huge play for that Knowles defense.
And a huge play individually for Tavares McFadden. Talked about in the first half. He's been picked on at times this year. He's made some mental errors. A very gifted player. Great position. Gets his eyes turned around and is able to make that interception. Nice job.
First Canes turnover. Chance to add to this lead. Erased by McFadden. His 4th pick of the season. Emptying the motivational bucket. Defensive coordinator Charles Kelly. McFadden, he made the pick. You want to be a coach? It's a tough job sometimes.
He's been under the gun. He's first 4 or 5 weeks. He's putting everything into this game.
So is McFadden, by the way.
Yep.
And as Francois on the offense tries to build on that takeaway. Cook navigating through traffic, picks up 5. McFadden was the Seminole who got flagged for pass interference that set up that game-winning 54-yard field goal by North Carolina. So he felt awful about it at the end of that game, but a big play tonight.
He's had a couple big plays tonight. So now it's over to Francois and the Knowles offense. And if you haven't seen this game tonight, the Canes don't feel threatened in the vertical passing game, so they are taking away the running game. They're putting everything, every effort to try to make Francois in the passing game prove that they can beat them. It's been tough on the Florida State offensive line all night.
Dalvin Cook, as Fisher spends a timeout, a 54-yard run, saving tackle by Corn Elder in the first half. And the other 10 rushes, he's been held in check, though.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Jameis quieting the crowd here 2 years ago. A furious rally led by him, and Jalen Ramsey made a pick to preserve the victory over Miami.
I love these history shots.
It's cool.
I never forget my first Miami-Florida State game watching it. It was 2000 in the Orange Bowl when Ken Dorsey hit Jeremy Shockey on the game-winning touchdown. Remember that one?
I do.
That was awesome.
You can go long without the Hail Mary. Counts on Goodyear tires for superior performance. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. I love the memories that go back to the old Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Watching those battles from the sidelines. On 2nd and 5 after the timeout, they flip it near side. Wilson fighting out near the 30. It'll be about a yard short of the first down.
It's a good effort by Wilson. Miami defense really flying to the ball. Keep in mind, Miami has rotated from the very first couple series. A lot of bodies on that defensive line. Trying to stay fresh. We'll see if it pays off for them as we get in deeper into this second half, into the 4th quarter on a hot, humid night. That could help them. You see more bodies running in and out of this game.
You're right. Manny Diaz has really trusted his depth, and that includes plenty of young, inexperienced players.
Expect Francois on the sneak here, but remember that right shoulder.
2 tight ends and a fullback in the game as Cook powers for a first down across the 30.
We did see Dalvin Cook get out on a big run for 54 yards where he had to break a tackle to do that, but it's been, other than that, pretty quiet night. It's like the big fella Gerald Willis, the sophomore out of New Orleans, is down.
Appears to be in some pain. Well, after the Washington State Stanford game over on ESPN tonight, Bucci and John Anderson for SportsCenter. Latest NFL news, UFC 204 update to go with all your college football fix. Sports Center at night, also on the Watch ESPN app. And they help Willis to his feet. This is an area of the team where the Canes do have tremendous depth. Lead just 10 because of McFadden's interception in the end zone of the poor throw by Brad Kaya. And Francois can engineer a comeback. The Canes will regret that last possession, that last mistake. Their first turnover tonight. First down carry for Cook, who spins free and now is brought down. Excellent job by Jamal Carter, the safety, to make the tackle.
You know, this defense lost 4 starters from their secondary. Adrian Colbert plays. We've seen Jenkins around quite a few years. Jamal Carter's kind of a hammer back there. He did a nice job there. You have Corn Elder back there as well. They lost all their linebackers, playing 3 true freshmen. But boy, they are trusting what they see and not hesitant at all, especially defending Dalvin Cook in the run.
Showing pressure off the edge on 2nd and 7. They bring it. Cook picks it up, and now Francois delivers on the far side. Rudolph tiptoes just enough for the first down out across the 40.
Yeah, the blitz came from Shaq Quarterman. He's going to come from right here and come around. He's just a little bit late, but Francois has a tendency to do this. He waits until the last second to give his receiver a chance, and that time Rudolph just settled down right where he needed to. This soft spot in that zone off to the left there to pick up that first down.
How gutsy is that to wait that long, knowing that your right shoulder's already been hammered, playing through some pain?
Yep.
2 tight ends. They fake it to Cook, and now Francois finally will take a shot downfield, and Cook is wide open. Dalvin running free. Touchdown. Flag is down. He may have roughed Francois, but Dalvin Cook, the hometown guy, strikes again against the Canes. 59 yards. And Francois, without his helmet, is still sitting on the field.
Passer, defense, number 31. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff. Touchdown.
Demetrius Jackson roughed the quarterback.
Well, just a perfect time to call the play by Jimbo Fisher. But I don't know what the Miami defense was thinking here. The ball is thrown, and well after that, Demetrius Jackson was really almost a sandwich between the Miami defenders. 2 guys hit him. But what a call. And there's the toughness again from Francois to hang in there, makes the throw, and gives Dalvin Cook a chance to get down that sideline on that rail route. Nobody picked him up.
Dalvin's only got 2 touchdown receptions in his career. Both have come against the Canes, and that was enormous. Hard to believe they forgot about number 4. And the shot on Francois afterward was ugly. Back in the tent to be checked out again by the medical staff as Aguayo tries to cut the lead to 3.
Well, when you're aggressive with your linebackers, it can catch up to you. Here they're trying to blitz a linebacker. He's actually responsible for Dalvin Cook in man coverage. Watch him right here. He falls down. Dalvin Cook's just going to go right down the sideline. And because they're in man coverage, nobody is there to pick him up. The patience from Francois to let the play develop, giving Cook time to be able to get down the sideline. But after he made that throw, he got drilled by Demetrius Jackson.
Yeah, this is very late. You're right. It's a sandwich shot.
Yeah. Jackson from behind. Another defensive lineman. Helmets off.
That is way too late.
How many times have we seen Francois with that look? I mean, look at that.
It's the second time that his helmet's come off. The other one wasn't flagged, but Norton knocked him down in the first half. You're right, though. A dazed look on his face. Didn't even know they'd scored.
His opening night against Ole Miss, he made a touchdown. He made that touchdown pass before the half and got hit hard. It wasn't late, but he was hit hard. He has been battle tested and hit from a lot of different angles in these first 5 games of his career.
Rookie Aguayo is not the regular kickoff man for the Seminoles. And because of the penalty, he'll kick it off from the 50. Let's see if they try something a little bit tricky here. Usually it's Tyler booing the kickoffs deep.
Delay game. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
They move it back 5 yards, but again, Aguayo not normally taking the kickoffs. Tyler's got a huge leg and just booms him out of the end zone. So you wonder if Fisher was thinking about a pooch kick or something unusual there.
Well, if you put it up in the air and let your defense run underneath it, or your coverage team run underneath it.
He was checking the sidelines. He was looking over there to see what they wanted to signal, and now he will pooch it, but pretty deep. And Berrios inside the 5 is still alive and brought down at the 13. And it has been a punishing evening for DeAndre Francois, the freshman, who began early.
Yeah, I mean, the entire game, the offensive line has had a hard time keeping this defense out of him. They blitzed it. The defensive line has won. That looked like a call that might be a late hit there by Kendrick Norton. That was when he went out of the game. He went into the 10. He has come back. This is the last play, the touchdown pass, where he gets battered again. But he just keeps coming back.
Goes in the tent, comes out one more time.
That is one way to impress your teammates. When a quarterback gets hit and hit and hit, and he just keeps coming back.
7 knockdowns. Francois is a very thoughtful, conscientious guy, not emotional, not gregarious like Jameis was. Totally different personality. Kaya, meanwhile, he threw the pick last time, tries to get it to Dobar, the tight end, and it's off his hands. Francois, part of the Showtime program chronicling their season, got into his dorm room. These are his goals. They're on the ceiling of his room. He wakes up every morning, uses his cell phone flashlight to check out the goals. Retire mom, take care of his family. Academics, very important. He's got a 3.2 GPA. You saw some trophies over there on the left side as well. There's a second down handoff to Yearby. In a short game. It's going to be 3rd and long now.
I thought what was cool is he's getting up so early to get ready for school and football that the room is dark. And he said every morning to give him motivation, while the room is dark, he takes his cell phone with that light and he flashes it up to that ceiling and he looks at those goals just in case he wasn't feeling motivated or he was a little bit tired. He looks at those goals and it gets him out of bed and it gets him ready to go.
So the Noles defense, a chance to get the ball back to Francois. Kaya facing 3rd and 8. No hands on the ground for the Noles. They use this look against Miami, trying to confuse the quarterback. It worked last year effectively, and there's an incompletion.
Yeah, rush 3, dropped 8, but they still had an open receiver. That was just a case of the quarterback and his receiver just not quite being on the same page. It looked to me like Stacy Coley was actually running where he wanted to go underneath. And I think Brad Kaya was expecting him to just settle to the outside. But he had an opportunity there for the first down, but the miscommunication cost the Canes.
Local to punt, and Naquan Murray, the sophomore, is now back to receive this. And he'll make the fair catch. You feel like an uneasy mood in this place all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Canes were up 10. There was a party in here. Yeah.
Been there, done that kind of feeling.
Yeah. Noles back to work, down just 3. Well, like so many, our friend the Bear, Chris Felica, migrated from the New York metropolitan area down to Coral Gables to go to school. So let's bring him out of hibernation for the Aflac trivia question tonight. Bear?
Thanks, Chris. Obviously tonight, Miami celebrating the 25th anniversary of the 1991 championship game. Everyone remembers Jerry Thomas missed that field goal in the 17-16 wide right one. But who scored the winning touchdown for Miami in that 17-16 game?
They honored that team at halftime, but we were eating a sandwich. We weren't paying attention to those guys.
Man, I'm gonna guess Lamar Thomas. Was he?
He was on that team. Sure.
Was he on that team?
Yeah. Francois, gets it up to Whitfield. Had to get it up and over the defender. All right, Mr. Felica, give it to us.
Let's answer that question. Aflac trivia question for you. It was Larry Jones.
Oh, okay.
Horace Copeland, the other wide receiver, had a big fourth down conversion on that drive. By
number
the way.
23, Larry Jones.
Correct.
Right?
17-16 still in play here tonight too, boys.
Look at Gino, Toretto over there on the
far right, the green.
That was the year before he went and won the Heisman Trophy.
Horace Copeland, 88, right there.
Second and 4. Cook cuts it back, slides for a short gain. Third down coming up.
That's when the Canes would score a touchdown and do a backflip. They just
the pistol, they shoot the pistols on, run up the ramp.
Thrill Hill, take their helmets off.
Now this crowd trying to get back on its feet. Up this Miami defense. Not the same party atmosphere, not as much confidence from the faithful here. The way the Noles have clawed back in this.
Watch these athletic defensive linemen try to shoot the gaps. The Noles will have to tighten those splits down. Linebackers coming after him.
Izzo in motion, 2 tight end look from the I formation. They fake it to Cook, and Francois rolls out, takes a shot, delivers, and it's catch is made. Maven Saunders, the tight end, is Francois again favoring that right shoulder.
And a gutsy call where you know that the defense is going to come after you. He's going to drag across. Look at the pressure. Does a good job. He gets hit again, and a heck of a throw and a big time catch there. Look at that beautiful shot there to see Saunders go into the air to make that play.
Rangy, athletic tight end out of the Bahamas. He's still learning football, but he's improved as a blocker. He's earned his playing time this year. Big completion, and now Cook tries to bounce it and cannot quite get the edge. Sean Jenkins did well to get out there.
Yeah, Cartel Jenkins did a good job of blowing that play up at the beginning. He got into the backfield, beat Kareem R, and forced Dalvin Cook to bounce that to the outside. Cook, because he's so talented, lucky to pick up some yards, and now we see the freshman right there go down, Landon Dickerson.
Wear and tear on a humid night beginning to show. We'll take a break. Another reminder, Tuesday night on ESPN, 10 Eastern, The Undefeated presents A Conversation with the President. Sports, race, and achievement, a 1-hour forum. President Obama on the campus of North Carolina A&T, hosted by Stan Barrett, also on the Watch ESPN app. So the Seminoles, it's down 13-3, get the third quarter touchdown, and now on the move again. Inside of 5 to play in the third quarter. 2nd and 8. Empty backfield. Good protection. Dumped off to the tight end Izzo, who stretches and fights. It'll be just short of a first down. Quarterman held on for dear life.
Yeah, he did. And Roderick Johnson was assigned to try to make the block there on Quarterman, who's had a big night. Again, the true freshman. Doing a good job in the middle of that defense, but not a bad call there to give the Noles a chance here on now, again, another third down and short.
They've had a lot tonight. 6 for 12, mostly because they've been in this range or shorter. Brings some pressure. It's picked up, and another strike is delivered. That's Auden Tate, who fights for a first down near the 20. Another third down completion.
A great job against man-to-man. You have great size here, great length. Easy to throw to Tate. It's 6'5". It's a matchup advantage there against Redwine, who's much smaller at 6'1". But that is a great job of recognizing the matchup there by Francois, putting the ball right on the money.
Play action, flipped over short. Whitfield makes a man miss and scoots into the end zone, and the Seminoles take the lead. How about that? Block on the edge from Rudolph, Kirk. And we see that Florida State resilience again. 60-yard drive, 7 plays in 3:34, and the Noles lead for the first time tonight. Two third-quarter touchdowns.
Chris, this is all DeAndre Francois, their own version of a run-pass option. This is a play that's designed to run here. In fact, you'll see the center getting downfield to make a block. But what he sees is this, a blitz from the safety, Johnson. Because of that blitz, he knows that he's got these 3 receivers against only 2 defenders. He aborts the run, gets it to the outside to Whitfield, and there's the 2 blocks by his wide receivers. Again, almost as a seasoned veteran, DeAndre Francois reading the coverage, recognizing the blitz from Johnson, and getting the ball out to the very fleet-footed Kermit. Whitfield has had a big night tonight for these receivers. That's 7 receptions, 83 yards, and that touchdown right there.
Celebration of his birthday tonight with a touchdown. And it's a 17-point run, and the Canes are down for the first time this year. Only a couple of teams had not faced a deficit in 2016. How about this guy, Kirk? 8 straight completions and an incredible show of toughness.
And they're just still trying to keep that shoulder, trying to keep it loose. Derwin James coming over to show him his gratitude and appreciation. This kid just continues to grow up every single rep, every single time he's out on that field.
Now it's Brad Kaya's turn to try to answer. The Canes were rolling. Kaya playing very well, but the pick in the end zone by McFadden turned this thing around. And now Mark Ricks calling the plays with his experienced quarterback who's making his 30th start tonight. They got to find the rhythm back.
They got to get back to the up-tempo attack that was working so well for them and rely on Brad Kaya's experience. 3rd-year starting quarterback, even though it's a new system, and mix up the formations, the runs, and the passes. They had Florida State on their heels at times when they had success doing that kind of that up-tempo approach.
Has it been more of a pass-heavy attack than you've expected? Like 28 passes, just 16 running plays for Miami.
Yeah, they came in averaging 232 yards a game, only 43 so far tonight.
Try to give it to Walton. It's a tough run. Bangs forward near the marker. He'll be just short.
Yeah, Yearby and Walton both in the first 4 games of the year kind of led the way, set up their offense because of the threat of that running game. Now here they get back into that approach.
2nd and short. Walton gets the first down, driven out at the 40. Both Yearby and Walton. And here comes the flag. So add 15 more on a mental mistake by that Noles defense.
Yeah, it's Armand Lane who's moved over from wide receiver. Very surprising to see him make a poor decision. The Noles right now, with all the momentum in the world, he's way out of bounds.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense.
Plus,
it wasn't much.
15-yard penalty.
Plus the push and the extension.
Are you more likely to get that call when you're on the opponent's bench, maybe?
Well, it's the intent, it's the effort. Even though it wasn't, you could say that much, he was already out of bounds, and it was the fact he extended his arms and gave it a little bit of a oomph when he did it. That kind of catches the official's eyes every time.
See how costly that proves. Moves the ball to the 45.
Just like that, they're across midfield.
Walton again gets around the edge. Walton in the clear. Flag comes down as Walton scoots toward the end zone. Still on his feet. Tremendous effort to reach the end zone. This may come back though. Even if it does, that is a spectacular run by the sophomore from here in Miami. It will come back. Holding penalty.
Holding. Offense. Number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The shame of it for Miami is it's the right tackle, Tyree St. Louis, who really didn't have anything to do with the play. He gets caught up with Derek Nottie over here. Right there, he locks up with him. But they do a great job of getting to the outside of Dontavius Jackson, a freshman linebacker.
And the end of the run is special.
Oh, it is. 78 right there in the middle of your screen. Had nothing to do with the play, but that gives you an idea what Walton could do.
This is crazy. He gets grabbed with the jersey. Somehow his helmet touches the ground. His hand goes down.
That's a shame.
He gets in.
If that counts, that's one of the runs of the year.
It sure is. The progressive pylon can give you its point of view as Walton comes steaming right towards you. That is incredible balance to stay alive. But instead of that, it's 1st and 20.
We don't have to count that because of the penalty, but we can mentally count that and appreciate that, right?
You're being dispelling. That was incredible. Have you seen a guy like touch his hand and the top of his head on the ground and somehow stay alive? This is Yearby, another running play. So interesting approach and a murmur among the crowd here.
Well, Derek Notty's checking out of the game, but you know he's been dealing with an ankle. They said he had a dominant camp. They expected huge things from him, like a Timmy Jernigan type of year, but he's been nicked up. Tonight you can see what they're talking about. He's healthier, he's been very active, and he is getting off of blocks and making his presence felt there in the interior of that defense.
Other guys fighting through some pain. In his case, it's the ankle.
So just look at him stalking here. He's kind of walking around here on 3rd and long.
They rush 3. Kaya still pressured, delivers a throw again. Boy, this is the 2nd year in a row when the Noles take that approach. Kaya just doesn't seem comfortable.
No, and that's the whole point. Charles Kelly said this week he's a rhythmic passer. Our jobs as a defense is to get him to be able to feel us. We don't have to sack him. Make him feel us. Let's affect him. Let's make him move off of his spot. Make him move a little to the left, a little bit to the right. They feel they can affect that rhythm, and we've seen that now the last few series. He just looks a little bit out of sorts right now with his receivers.
So the holding penalty on St. Louis takes away the touchdown, and now Vogel punts it away, and a fair catch is made back at the 11. This week's AP rankings brought to you by Goodyear. The Tide with a 19-point win at Arkansas. Michigan 78-0. Somebody broadcast that game in Piscataway. I'm not saying I wanted to be there.
Chris, now we find out in this Mark Richt era if it's going to be different. It's one thing if you don't have the weapons to end up winning the game, but you cannot self-destruct. You can't let interceptions and penalties and mistakes cost you a football game. That's what's hurt them in the past 5-6 years.
It feels like they're going to have to tackle number 4 because they feed Dalvin for an 8-yard gain on 1st down.
And they wanted to see how they'd handle adversity. This is a football team that hasn't trailed all year. And now they've got their chance. They're trailing a rival 17-13 with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. How do you respond? It's easy to be a front runner. Now you're being challenged. We'll find out what they're made out of.
Cook over 100 yards again against the Canes. 109. Final minute of the quarter. Cook retreats, breaks free, flags down on this run as he spins across the 30.
Again, Alec Eberle, one time we had him and we talked about he had a hold. I think it was against Ole Miss. I don't know if he's a WWE fan, but he likes to get active with his hands.
Holding.
Maybe he's a wrestler in high school. I don't know.
10-yard penalty.
The different rules on the mat than the field, though, I think.
Yeah, you can't grab a guy and just throw him to the ground. He's in the middle, the center. Went ahead and just said, I'll just take that shoulder pad, and nobody will ever see that. R.J. McIntosh.
They saw it all right. And that backs up the Noles. All of a sudden, penalties are becoming a dominant theme, really hurting both teams. Spot foul, so they move back, and it's 2nd and 12.
See if the Canes bring those linebackers. Been bringing Pinckney and Quarterman quite a bit tonight.
Schwab protected, delivers across the middle, catch made on a huge hit deliver, but holding on to the ball was Bobo Wilson.
I don't know what was more impressive, the fact that Francois squeezed this into such a tight window, or the catch by Bobo Wilson to be able to hold on to this knowing that was coming into him. That's a great job. He knows right now that a safety's going to drill him when he makes that catch, but the concentration before Corn Elder got to him, heck of a job of executing there by Florida State on 2nd and long.
And Francois, as Elder heads to the sidelines, continues his strong play. 15 minutes to play. The Noles Trying for a 7th straight win over the Hurricanes, leaded by 4. And welcome back to ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Cross-divisional game between these two rivals. There's DeMarcus Walker.
After all the turmoil and the struggle that this team has been through, if I'm a Florida State fan, that's what I love to see right there. The leadership from a defensive player coming out at the timeout to talk to those linemen.
He's one of the guys that Fisher can count on to be a leader on this team. Cook is another one on the offensive side, and a tough run as we check in with Cassidy Hubbard for a studio update.
Thanks, Chris. Taco Bell studio update. A lot of Pac-12 after dark action. Oregon State hosting Cal. Take a look at this run by Ryan Nall. Nifty cutback and turns on the Jets. The Beavers up 24-10 on the Golden Bears. Nice little stiff arm right there, too. That with 14 to play in the third. Chris Herbie, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, thank you. Cook again. It'll be 3rd down and short. Speaking of the Pac-12, Kirk, how about the Washington Huskies today? I mean, I know Oregon's struggling.
Yeah.
The guys in purple are for real.
They really are.
Statement win.
They really are. Last 2 weeks. I mean, what they did to Stanford last Friday night got everybody's attention. I think people are anxious to see how they go on the road today at Austin. I think it's a combination of really bad Oregon and a very, very good Washington.
They waited a long time to beat down the Ducks in that game.
Yep.
Again, it's 3rd and short. They need 2. Cook picks it up again. The success on 1st down has been enormous for the Noles tonight. To stay ahead of the count, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been in a lot of 2nd, medium, 3rd, and short. I think DeAndre Francois, I'm going to continue to go back to him because he has just been so impressive tonight. In the 3rd quarter alone, Chris, he's 10 of 11 now, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns, completed 9 in a row. That is despite going out of the game earlier with a shoulder injury.
Absolutely. That'd be a great night without what he's gone through. And they hand it, and here comes a flag. It's Patrick. They grabbed his face mask, and it'll be another penalty on the Canes.
It's like Moten, 95.
And it's Moten who's down. And this will move the ball again close to midfield.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 95, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
We've been talking about Francois and his toughness tonight. It's been tested, been hit a lot. This is a touchdown throw where he waited until he could get the ball thrown to Dalvin Cook. That's a heck of a job there on 3rd down to get the ball to the tight end, Saunders. Just kind of in sync and rhythm and feeling very, very good. He and Jimbo Fisher together, and that's his last touchdown to Kermit Whitfield.
So the ball at the 42, and after again fighting off the ropes, 13 zip down, the Noles now a chance to stretch the lead and really put some pressure on this Miami offense. Good thing the Canes have some depth at defensive line.
You notice when Francois in this passing game takes off, how it's all of a sudden opened up better running lanes, because those linebackers and safeties are concerned about that.
Not much there. This is when the Miami defense has to dig deep, as you said. This is the first time they've been challenged. They've been romping, rolling past people, playing on the lead. The backups have been in there by this point of the game.
That's the exciting part of this, is to kind of see if this is going to be a different Miami team where they can handle adversity and kind of fight through it. Somebody step up and be the guy.
Second and 9. Francois keeps it. They dump it short. And Wilson Gets a block, cuts it back, fights out of bounds near the marker at the 33. It'll be another 3rd and very short here.
Yeah, you have linemen downfield. Chris, you have linemen downfield blocking, but the good thing is he catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage, so it doesn't matter. That was the key, the throw there, keeping him behind the line and not taking him downfield.
Here's a first down.
Yep.
9th play of this drive.
Early on the field is the first down. The previous play is under review.
Yeah, I thought the spot was a tad generous. They'll check it out and see where Wilson got. If they move it back, it'll be 3rd down and very short. Just to get to the 32.
Tough to tell from this angle where the ball is when he goes out of bounds. It definitely looks short.
Yeah, there's no way that ball got to where they spotted it. It's in his right arm.
Yeah, it's just a matter of it's half a yard or a full yard short. See him extend it there.
Yeah, he tried to reach it back, but already shoved out. Joe Ryder, the replay official, and the folks in Greensboro who are collaborating with him, had a busy night. Miami's only touchdown. Brilliant catch by Coley. Correctly ruled a touchdown after a replay reversal. Ricks, you know, head coach, sure, but he's play caller too, Kirk. So he's got to check that chart and see what he can count on. See what he can go with next time Kaya goes back out on the field.
Well, that's the thing, is being a head coach / offensive coordinator, he has to keep his eye on what's happening with the replay, but the other eye is looking at the play chart and thinking, okay, are we going to hold him to a field goal here? Are we going to get a stop? Are they going to score a touchdown? And how's that going to impact his play call?
He turns the defense totally over to Diaz and lets Manny Diaz run that part of it. Because calling plays and being a head coach, your plate is plenty full. You need to trust this guy to run the defense.
It's such a change from where he's been for the last 8 or 9 years in Athens. I mean, he was more of a, and he would tell you, he's more of a CEO. He had a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator, and of course he was right in the middle of all of it, but he was really just trying to help on both sides of the ball, but he really trusted his staff.
It's taken a long time, Dave, to look at this replay. I mean, it looked like Wilson was in the air trying to extend the ball toward the marker. How do you see this one?
I really see it as short, as you guys said.
After review, the ball carrier went out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Full
1
yard.
yard short of the line to gain. It'll be 3rd down and 1 to go. The clock will start on my ready.
By the way, how big will this be if they come up with a stop? It could be a really big 3rd down. Yeah, it looked like Dave, like a half yard to a yard, just depending on what they were able to look at there.
All right, what it is here is they couldn't find the ball, so he took a little extra time to make sure his whole body was high. Clearly not a first down.
You feed Cook here. You know they're going to bring a couple of tight ends, probably that fullback Stevenson in there to block for him.
Well, Dalvin Cook is your guy. I mean, he's the guy you like to turn to in these tough situations because of how physical he can be. Even if they get penetration, he has an ability to run through tackles. And because of the shoulder to Francois, you almost wonder if the sneak, which they did a lot of earlier, is even an option for Jimbo.
Yeah, you'd want to take a shot on that shoulder again. Cook picks his way for a first down and almost broke it. Just holding on was Redwine, but the Knowles do move the sticks.
Watch the left guard, 72, Kareem Orr. He's going to follow him on the power play. Nice job at the right side of the offensive line, collapsing down a very physical Canes defensive line. Opens it up and picks up an easy first down.
Cook gets the toss again. He's got blockers in front, picks his way, and now steps out of bounds. But another terrific first down gain to set up this series. Now 23 touches, 21 rushes. Not quite the 222 that he had last year against Miami, but there's still time. And of course, the big play of the 59-yard touchdown when he was left alone.
Remember, those last 2 years, he's had his big moments in the fourth quarter, so still plenty of time.
Yeah, he was a freshman 2 years ago, came in with fresh legs and delivered the game-winning touchdown run. The Miami defense holding to a field goal attempt here. Cook, kind of a deep handoff, some hesitation there. Very short game, but again, third and very short.
Yeah, a heck of a job by Gerald Willis, who went out of a game with an injury, is back in the lineup now. Does a great job there of fighting through there with his quickness and getting penetration. And because of that, they held him short of the first down.
You need a little bit less than 2 yards on this one. Man, these two teams are just slugging away now. Another physical test. There's no mystery. It's Cook, but he doesn't get there this time. They're shooting the gap was Darian Owens, the reserve linebacker. It's fourth down.
That's exactly right, Chris. Good eye. Darian Owens does a nice job here. Nobody picks him up. He doesn't hesitate. He's going to shoot that gap from the backside to be able to negate this play. And also, how about the defensive line there, holding the point of attack there and not giving in an inch? That is a big series for the Miami defense. As tired as they may have been on that 12-play drive, this forces field goal.
That's a great point. That was the 12th play of the drive. They dig in and force Aguayo's 32-yard field goal. They'll take that, though, because it's still a one-score game. Exactly. Boy, nice to see these two rivals pushing each other, forcing each other to dig real deep. All right, Cassidy, thank you. Field goal by Aguayo makes it a 20-0 run for Florida State. But the Canes still within 7. 9:02 to play here in this muggy night in Miami. And Kaya and that offense going to have to rediscover the rhythm, the mojo they had early in this game. Noles defense has recovered nicely. Let's take a look at AT&T Inside Access when Thomas drilled Kaya and drew the targeting penalty that led to his ejection. Keep a close eye on the quarterback. Took a shot in the face right there underneath him. That is his tooth, folks. Sonny Odogwu, the right tackle, recovers the fumble, gives it back to the quarterback. They just take it off. It's a molar back there, Kurt. Are you kidding me?
I've never seen anything like that. I appreciate the offensive lineman with his gloves, his dirty gloves on, reaching down there and picking that tooth up.
Might leave that one in the cup until next week, and the dentist can attend to it.
That's incredible.
We've had at least 2 dirty shots on the quarterback, 1 for each side tonight.
Kaya's going to have to get this going. It's been a tough second half for the Canes offense, and especially Kaya throwing the football.
Yeah, because can we say the teeth has gone out of the attack?
Yeah, that was good.
Since it's a good start there. I mean, they really have not had much bite.
You're just going to keep going with this. You know, Mark Richt came into this game thinking, hey, we're going to be balanced and we're going to run the football, which they've not been able to do. 65 yards tonight running the ball, so it's put a lot more on Kaya and his group of receivers.
On 2nd and 8, Kaya delivers again. Excellent coverage. They're all over the tight ends tonight. That was Herndon, well covered by Hoskins.
And you know, we talked all week about the Florida State defense. Their fans have been talking about what the heck's going on here. Think about 9.4 yards per attempt. That was 127th in the country. Tonight, only 6.4. 3-yard improvement. They have done a great job tonight of mixing up the looks, getting pressure on Kaya, and playing, more importantly, with much more discipline in the back end in that secondary.
Herndon has 1 catch, and Njoku, the other tight end, has 3, but no big plays at all from those guys. And those are big weapons for this offense. Kaya on third down delivers to Coley, who has been the key guy. Clutch catch at the 45 as he beat the freshman Taylor.
Chris, you're going to see man-to-man across the board here. The receiver will come in from the outside. Look at the top. All the man-to-man coverage. That's a gutsy throw from a guy who's been 3 of 9 in the second half.
That's 17 yards in that 3rd and 8. Goes down. Walton squirms for about 2.
Just got done bragging on Florida State's defense, and there's a miscommunication. Derek Nottie jogging in. They basically stopped that play with 10 defenders on the field. They only had 3 defensive linemen, and they still held up for a short gain for Miami.
Slant. Barrios can't make the catch, and now a couple of flags come in. White was in coverage, but they may have flagged a hit on Barrios after the incompletion.
Either that or it could have been early on Marquez White. There was a lot of contact.
Defense, number 27. The ball
you got
placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
It wasn't necessarily where you saw the ball try to get to Barrios. It was a lot earlier when the ball was in the air. He just kept jamming him 5, 7, 8 yards downfield. There's a lot of contact there, and it wasn't necessarily at the end of the play. It was earlier, right when the ball initially got into the air.
Ball moved to the Knowles 47. This is Walton. And they continue to test the middle without much success. Dontavius Jackson, the freshman linebacker, on the stop.
The Knowles and Charles Kelly are saying we're going to leave our corners on an island. We're not intimidated. We're not afraid of that vertical passing game, even though you've hit a couple. They put everybody at the line of scrimmage based on the formation and the down and distance. They read the tendencies, they assumed run, and they guessed right for the loss. Remember, Kaya had that big 4th quarter last year throwing the ball.
On 2nd and 11 in the pocket, he's dropped. That was Derek Nottie who got him. It'll be 3rd and very long.
Nottie gets him, but an assist goes to DeMarco Walker, who forces him to step up in the pocket. Watch at the top. 44 forces him to step up. Nottie just dominates the inside. We just got done talking about what a force he's been now that he's healthy. And Linder just did not have a chance against that quickness and power.
You see in the right there, and Dogwood, the tackle got rolled up on his knee. That did not look good. Let's take a break.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by AT&T. Mobilizing your world. And Ford. We go further so you can.
Knowles trying to make it 7 in a row over Miami, would equal their longest streak in the series. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. No matter what route your vehicle runs, choose Goodyear for superior performance. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. So after the sack, it's 3rd and 17 for Miami. If they don't convert here, maybe just one more chance to get back into this thing. Kaya stepped up, sack on back-to-back plays. That was Josh Sweat, the Buck linebacker.
Remember Josh Sweat when he was questionable for the Louisville game? You take him out of this pass rush, it's a significant loss. Charles Kelly is fired up, and I don't blame him. Here he is right here, just using his speed. Does a good job of getting around him. You can see he's not quite 100%, but still quick enough to get around Trevor Darling there.
Only 2 sacks allowed by Miami in those 4 easy wins, but 3 tonight. Those guys in orange up front getting whipped lately. And Vogel's punt fair caught at the 15-yard line by Wilson. So 5:48 to play, and the Knowles sitting on a 7-point lead. Quarterback comparison is the Pacific Life game summary. The stats, Kirk, are pretty similar. But that one interception in Kaya's column there, that pick by McFadden in the end zone, really turned things around.
I agree, but I think this is a case where the stats don't really tell the story.
Right.
DeAndre Francois has played a great football game tonight, beyond the stats, getting hit the entire night, and just he hasn't flinched. He just continues to come back. What I want to see here is Jimbo Fisher with a 7-point lead. How does he attack this Miami defense? Because the Canes defense needs to make a play to get their offense a short field.
Have to tackle Cook, and they do behind the line. Quick penetration by Michael Pinckney, the linebacker.
I can't, man, we've seen a lot of great young players tonight. We've talked so much about Francois, but Michael Pinckney and Shaq Quarterman, Joe Jackson on the defensive line. There's some true freshmen out there that were playing high school football last year. And tonight, they're in the Miami-Florida State game, and they're making plays and playing with poise.
They bring 5 against Francois, who throws incomplete off the hands of Saunders. It'll be 3rd and 13.
And I think as much as Jimbo Fisher trusts his young quarterback because of what he's seen from him in the first 6 games this year, still has to be smart. 508, defense has been playing very well against Kaya. You got to be smart here and not put him in a position where he could potentially make a mistake and cost you. Because Miami desperately needs a break. They desperately need to give Kaya great field position.
First time in a long time, Kirk, the noise is back. Canes rush for Francois from the pocket, delivers into traffic, incomplete, and a flag comes in very late. Carter and Jenkins converged on Whitfield. It wasn't interference. Was it a personal foul?
Well, you got to think it's going to be targeting potentially. Defenseless player. I just want to see where the contact was. We have Dave Kataya up here to help us.
Personal foul. Targeting.
Yeah.
Defense. Number 6. 15-yard penalty.
For everybody at home, of course, you can review this. It can be looked at. Dave, why don't you hop in and help us with that rule this year?
Every targeting penalty is reviewed, regardless of what. So you have it here. Looks like
he hits him in the chest to me with his
we need
shoulder.
to see another look. It looks like the primary contact was into the chest area. Let's see.
Live, I thought he hit him in the chest.
Take a look at it right here.
Carter, they flag coming in. Whitfield's helmet does snap back.
I think it's a reaction because he got hit in the chest.
It's on the shoulder pad, just the edge of the helmet.
Yeah, that was a much better look. That's a close call.
That's really close, and I'm not sure they can change this call.
Let's see that contact. Well, that's right at the gray area.
Exactly.
That's right, depending on who's in the booth looking at that.
And if we're in the gray area, it's going to stand.
Yeah.
But it's really close.
Yep.
I agree that it hit on the left shoulder. His head did snap back. The flag came from very deep. If they don't call that, it's 4th and 13 from the 12. This is an enormous review by Joe Ryder.
You could almost feel Carter trying to intentionally go low. Keep in mind, Kermit Whitfield is 5'8", and he was kind of scrunched down, getting ready to engage in contact.
Yes.
It just felt that Carter was trying to get as low as he could, but when you look at those different angles,
it's a first down anyway. Whether the targeting is taken away, it's still a personal foul.
It's a personal foul if they call it for a late hit on the receiver, but if it's only targeting and they take the targeting away, the foul goes away as well.
Did he call personal foul with targeting?
That's not what he said, so we'll have to see. He said personal foul targeting, which makes me think that's all it was.
Yeah. Well, he's talking about a huge call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Player number 6 is disqualified from the game.
Jamal Carter is out. But more importantly, for the flow of this game, the Noles, after a 3rd and 13, have a first down, a fresh set of downs with 5:01 to play.
And not to mention Mark Richt now loses. There's debris coming down now. Mark Richt now loses one of his leaders in that secondary.
Yeah, they're going to have to hold up the game. You're right, Kirk. Debris is flying into the end zone and out of the upper decks. This is shades of the old Orange Bowl crowds, which would get frequently out of hand. This is going to be a lengthy delay now.
And the Miami players are really frustrated with their fans.
I mean, there is debris everywhere.
And Jimbo Fisher just said, why is that not 15 yards? He's going to talk to the head official and ask him if that should be a 15-yard penalty. I mean, there is debris. The entire field at that end is littered with debris.
Richt is out there, but this will take some time. And again, as Carter walks off, this crowd may not like the call, but the judgment he made to go after the receiver, the ball was not going to be caught, really.
And my feeling, as I said, it was in that gray area, and it's in the gray area. You're going to have to go with the call on the field. You know, at the end of the day, if you're a Miami fan, you're going to say he hit him low, and the contact sent him up into the face mask. And if you're a Florida State fan, you're going to say, look at his head. He's obviously hit him in the helmet or in the face mask there. So it's a gray area call, and you have to stay with the call on the field.
The ball has been moved to the 27-yard line. They have one final look at it.
You're going to see it here. He's clearly defenseless. Right now he's defenseless. The head goes down. All right. And there the shot, you can't really see. Here's another angle coming in here. Now let's see if we can see any contact clearly below. Right there you can't. You can't see a definition. It's a gray area. You got to stick with a call.
Yeah, there's really not enough there to definitively say he definitely hit him in the shoulder or hit him beneath the headgear.
Had that not been called targeting on the field, you don't believe the booth would have intervened to call targeting, as they can.
Not on this one, I don't think. No.
Well, Miami did everything they needed to get the stop. Now they got to crank it back up again after that penalty.
And the debris delay. Francois is grabbed high and wrestled down for a loss by Chad Thomas.
Well, the first time we've called Chad Thomas's name tonight. Does a great job of getting around because of his quickness. Keep in mind, 265 pounds. The left guard, Kareem R., who came around, he was surprised. He came around, and boy, number 9 went right around him with that quickness, reading that play as well as he did. Another good stop on 1st and 10 for the Canes.
Cook into heavy traffic, battles hard to get back to the initial line of scrimmage. Quarterman and Thomas combining that time.
That play call from Jimbo Fisher. Keep in mind the confidence that he has to have, maybe for the first time this year, in his defense and the way they played here in this second half. I think it's impacting on how he's calling this right now, especially deep in his own territory.
That's a great point. Does he throw the ball here or just feed number 4?
I think you give Francois a chance. You got to trust him. But if it's not there, you throw it away or check it down to Cook.
Pressure. Throws off the back foot and just fires it into the bench. It was Thomas again making his presence felt, and it's 4th down. Miami's defense makes a stand despite the targeting penalty, and now a Knoll is on the field there, and that's Kareem R., the left guard. Again, we've seen the big boys on both sides in the trenches feeling the wear and tear of this punishing game.
And by the way, Chad Thomas, I was wondering if he got outside of the tackle box.
Offense, loss it down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
After consulting, you're right, they call an intentional grounding, which will move it back, and still 4th down.
Again, for the fans, when you throw it away, you've got to get outside of the tackle box. And does he get outside? That's kind of the area that he's in, inside that pocket. He's inside the pocket, and now he throws it up here. There's nobody up there. The receiver's cutting to the inside. There's nobody up there. But if he doesn't get outside of that tackle box where he can throw it away, as long as it goes beyond the line of scrimmage.
So it looks like Brad Kirk is going to get the ball back. 3:32 to play. Miami has all 3 timeouts. Desperate to snap this losing streak. against the Noles, and a potentially career-defining moment for Kaya if he can lead a comeback. Monday night, Buccaneers and the Panthers, NFC South collision. Coverage begins at 6 with Monday Night Countdown. And then the ball game at 8:15, also streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. Still down on the field is Kareem Marr, the guard for the Seminoles. Didn't see a whole lot that was of concern during the play, Kirk, but he went down to the field and is just now finally able to walk off.
You know, a long game for those offensive linemen. What I love is R is surrounded by the other 4 starting linemen. They all walk off with him as a group. Very cool.
There's Logan Tyler, mindful of the fact that the Canes again have blocked 2 punts this year. And Braxton Berrios, the speedy returner, chance to give Kaya excellent field position for what could be a game-tying drive. Do they come after it here? Try to set the return up.
Great field position with the return.
Gets away a kick, and Berrios, no fair catch, cuts it back. Braxton Berrios, FSU territory, and cut down inside the 20. Finally, a special teams play as Berrios hit a crease and accelerated. The touchdown is saved at the end.
Great job here. Watch the freshman Richards. He does not block in the back. He kind of pulled back. They set up a wall off to the left, and he just set those blocks up perfectly.
How about the fact that Logan Tyler, the punter, got a hand out there and saved the touchdown, Kirk?
That was the only thing.
43-yard return.
And a very low punt, which I think helped set up that return. And now here comes Brad Kaya with a chance to possibly tie the game for Miami. Remember, it's been a rough second half for Kaya. Look at the numbers in the first half versus what he's done here in the second half. But great field position.
From the 16, it's Walton. Cuts it back. Knocked down hard after about a 5-yard gain.
Isadora leading the way there. It's tough sometimes to get wide against the speed and athletic ability from this Florida State defense. You can see Sweat coming in as well to clean that play up, but a good gain of 4.
No rushing touchdowns for Miami tonight. Walton again barrels forward. He'll be knocked down 2 yards short of the first down by Pugh. Third down.
Well, you got to love this. Mark Richt, first-year head coach, school that he played, back from being so successful at Georgia in the SEC. Crunch time in his first Miami-Florida State game as a head coach of the Canes, and it's coming down to this.
Walton, nothing. Stuff right there by DeMarcus Walker, who came around the edge. Interesting call.
Yeah, your stud's got to take over when the game's on the line, and that's what just happened with DeMarco Walker and Derek Nottie. Completely not fearing the quarterback run at all. They were completely locked in on the running back time. That time, Mark Walton.
Yeah, the timing wasn't good. He bobbled the shotgun snap. 4th and 5. Here it comes. Last gasp, perhaps, for the Canes. Kaya for the end zone. Coley, touchdown! A 4th down touchdown, and Michael Badgley, who's made 72 consecutive PATs, must deliver one more to tie the game with 1:38 to play. What a throw by Kaya on 4th down. It's blocked. It's no good. The Noles blocked the PAT. Badgley's streak ends at 72 in a row. Is that DeMarcus Walker?
Yep.
Made the block. There's a couple of flags down. Let's check the markers, but the Canes are walking off.
After the play, we had dead ball unsportsmanlike conduct fouls on both teams. 98 of Florida State and 63 of Miami. That is both of their first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game. We will have a kick from the 35-yard line.
Nobody's been more automatic making PATs in college football than Michael Badgley.
Watch the hold. Little bit maybe affects the rhythm there, but no question. And it's DeMarcus Walker gets his hand on it and knocks that ball away. Talking about one of the best kickers in the country. How about the leader, Walker, making plays down the stretch? Penetrates right there, puts the hand up and knocks that away. Unbelievable. And just when it looked like Miami, with the throw there on 4th down, was going to tie this football game.
You're talking about, well, let's take a look at the touchdown first.
The touch. Great coverage, by the way, by McFadden. I mean, he is stride for stride. The only thing he doesn't do is locate the ball there at the end. Perfect throw by Kaya. Always, he and Coley just seem to always be in sync. That is a gutsy play to potentially tie the game, and they missed the extra point.
And DeMarcus Walker, Mambo mode, he calls it when he's playing well. What an enormous play. I guess if you're a Noles fan, you figure you're overdue to make a play in the kicking game in this series with all those field goals that have flown wide right. Now, if you're Rick, do you try an onside kick? Do you kick it deep and use your 3 timeouts here?
Yeah, they're taking a look at this.
He's under review, we're told. Do they have any idea what they might be looking at on this?
I don't know, unless they're looking for numbers of players on the field. I'm not sure what they're looking at. The play was clearly blocked. It's certainly too late to review the touchdown, but that was clearly a touchdown. Possibly numbers of players on the field, and I'm not certain. Just have to wait.
Let's see if Daniel Isadora, there, number 63 from Miami, takes the helmet off and slams it down. That'll cost you 15. So they were already offsetting penalties, they said, in the normal kickoff from the 35. Maybe that's when they didn't spot initially.
Right. I mean, the offsetting,
you saw the flag come out.
Yeah, the offsetting penalties didn't affect where they'll be kicking the ball off.
No.
Still have all 3 timeouts, minute 38. Got to believe it's the onside kick coming up, depending on what's going on here with the officials.
Let's talk about a turn of events here. Barrios' dramatic punt return setting up Kaya, who needed a 4th down completion to Coley. And then the inconceivable from the Miami point of view, Badgley, automatic on PATs. I guess I'm being told they're reviewing whether or not people came off the sidelines. Well, they certainly did off the Florida State side, celebrating the block. There's no question about that. Half the team's out there and a bunch of coaches.
I think everybody's in shock.
But we had offsetting unsportsmanlike calls.
Yeah.
All right.
After review, the unsportsmanlike conduct of Florida State is on number 89. 89.
They have to review this, I guess, because if you get 2, you're kicked out of the game, Dave.
Exactly.
Yeah, we knew there was a foul on each team. They've given it to the Noles 89.
That's why it's so important.
Keith Gavin, backup wide receiver.
Would you kick it deep?
I'd kick the onside kick and trust that the defense can get a stop on 3 straight plays. And
we'll take a chance on the onside kick here.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of a funky formation.
Going deep. Noles expecting the onside kick.
Yeah, he was chased back to his 2-yard line. And the Canes get down there, cover it very well. So the Noles will have to operate from inside their 15. A minute 33. Miami with all 3 timeouts.
The logic there from Mark Richt and his staff is let's kick it deep. More than likely, Jimbo Fisher's going to run the ball 3 times. We have 3 timeouts. You get 3 stops and 3 timeouts. You force to punt on 4th down, and you're out of timeouts, but you get the ball back with maybe about a minute to go. But you got to, obviously, you can't give Florida State a first down.
Cook takes the toss and gets nothing. Met immediately right there by Michael Pinckney, and they do spend a timeout. And the Ford wrap-up show follows the game with Cassidy Hubbard. We'll be talking about a Miami comeback or a 7th straight win by the Seminoles in this series. I mean, these teams have battled tooth and nail over the years. There's been so many big plays and so much emotion, so many hard hits. We've had all that tonight, and so often it's come down to a kicker, more often than not missing. All those names of the Florida State close calls, the heartbreaks, the wide rights. What's the name for this one? The block party? The DeMarcus Walker?
Right. Well, here he and Derek Nottie both, when the game's on the line, those guys started to make plays late in the game.
Well, it was a bull rush block, wasn't it? He just got up the middle, got a hand up.
Yep. All right, same thing. Florida State's thinking, let's get to 1 first down, and the Canes are thinking we got to stop them again and use that 2nd timeout. Interesting.
Play action. All kinds of room for Francois, who doesn't really want to get out of bounds. Falls down. It's a first down.
That is all Jimbo Fisher. Great call. Everybody expecting run. Everybody thinking, let's stop 3 straight runs. Use the timeouts, get the ball back. But instead, they boot. Run him to the outside, keep him in bounds, pick up the first down, and now you work the clock.
Rick not calling the timeout here, so they don't have to snap it till about 40 seconds.
No, they're going to elect to hold on to these timeouts till after this first down. It was a gutsy call and a great call by Jimbo Fisher.
Francois snapped it about 5 seconds before he had to. Cook around the edge. May not matter. Dalvin Cook, another first down at the 35-yard line. And now Miami is going to have to spend a timeout here. You know, Sunday morning, tomorrow 10 o'clock Eastern over on ESPN, NFL Insider Sunday edition has all the news, fantasy updates at 11 o'clock. The new Sunday NFL Countdown takes you right up to kickoff. Both shows also streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. What a crazy final chapter of this. Remember the Seminoles once down 13-0. It was a 20-0 run. Kaya and the Canes offense had done nothing, but Barrios sets them up with a 43-yard punt return. The 4th down completion to Coley for a touchdown. A block PAT to Marcus Walker.
This says a lot about the Florida State resiliency, everything that they have been through this year. Some tough losses. Most recently last week on a last-second field goal at home against North Carolina. They get down early in this game, and they just keep plugging away, and that young quarterback just kept making plays, and the defense kept making plays.
Final timeout for Miami right at 40 seconds. That they lose on the kick of the life by Nick Wilder of Carolina, 54-yarder. Now you win on a block PAT, something that has been absolutely automatic for Badgley. All right, tonight's Street Cred brought to you by Allstate.
Yeah, it's something we've been doing all year with Allstate. Hashtag Street Cred on Twitter. Kind of look for the team of the week and some great choices, including this game tonight. But we're going to go with Navy with a big upset over number 6, Houston. They beat them 46-40. And Lee Corso actually picked that. So congratulations to the Sunshine Scooter for the pick, and also for his Knowles. Maybe finding a way to win here.
Shot of Badgley there, and the final kneel down by Francois is going to be a 3rd loss by a total of 10 points in the last 3 years, and they had leads in the second half of all of them. And this Florida State team is going to improve to 4-2. They get their first conference win. Keep slim hopes alive for the division title. They got to beat Clemson in a couple of weeks at home. Hope the Tigers lose another game. Hope Louisville loses a game. But for now, forget all that. It's Francois in a testament to toughness. And Fisher still perfect against Miami. And DeMarcus Walker expects him to rush the passer to tackle the ball carrier, but comes up with that big high reach and a block PAT to preserve the victory. Cook rushes for 150 yards. And you go back to Sam with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, Coach, you just said wow. How would you describe what you just experienced?
Florida State, Miami. That's what it is. It's always been that way, always will be that way. They got a great ball club. Our kids fought, scratched, and clawed and played a great ball game. We had mistakes, but that's a Florida State-Miami game. It's great competition and heck of a game.
Speaking of competitors, the guy standing right next to you right now, your quarterback, as a freshman, to get banged up the way he did, take the shots he did, what can you say about his performance tonight, especially in the second? I'm
very proud of him. I'm going to say this. When your quarterback's not tough, your team's not tough. When your quarterback's tough, you got a tough team. He leads them the right way. He's doing the right things, and he's growing. I'm very proud of him tonight.
Last thing for you before I talk to DeAndre. Coach, there was so much conversation about your defense and what was going wrong and should you make a change and all that kind of discussion. What can you say about what your defense did tonight?
Charles Kelly and that defense did one heck of a job. Our kids battled, scratched, and clawed. Even when they tied it up, didn't quit, and went and got a block PAT. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row they've done that in that situation. So there's a lot of, we got things to fix, there's no doubt. But our kids love us, they believe in what's going on, and we're going to get better.
Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to your QB now. DeAndre, getting a little love from his coach. Not a lot of love from Miami tonight. They were all over the place defensively. Obviously, you're dealing with a shoulder injury. How would you describe, first of all, the pain that you were in, especially after you went down that first time?
Yeah, I was hurting a little bit, but my team needed me. So the trainers got me right, and I came back on the field and played a good game.
How do you do that, just mentally? I mean, I saw you trying to keep your shoulder moving at all times. Just from the perspective of a guy who's new to this at this level, how do you do that?
Yeah, it got tight on me a couple times, but I just kept telling myself mentally, keep going, just keep playing. Don't worry about the injury. If I was thinking about my injury, I wouldn't be able to play. So I just blocked the injury out, focused on my game, and my mind, took over my body.
What stands out to you most about the way the guys around you helped you out tonight?
We just kept fighting. We kept on chopping. We kept making big plays and big moments. We stuck together. We stayed a family. And we've been through this before. We came into games down early, and we fought back like we did tonight.
But not as a starting quarterback against Miami. So what's it feel like? It's got to be, I know you're hurting, but it's got to be a little bit fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm real happy.
Really happy. Go get healthy. Thanks, DeAndre.
Sam, thank you. Great job. 11 of 13, 152 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. He also ran for 5 first downs as they'll take a piece of the sod here, put it back in the sod cemetery in Tallahassee. Fisher, Kirk mentioned the defense. They held the Canes to 276 total yards tonight.
Just an incredible game, and I thought what he said to Sam was perfect. This is Florida State Miami, and this is kind of what you hope for is a competitive game as Dalvin Cook gets his 3rd win over the Miami Hurricanes in the town that he grew up in. Decided to go play college ball up in Tallahassee. He's fired up. But it was great. It was back and forth. Miami came out, kind of showed that this is a new era with Mark Richt, and then give DeAndre Francois and this Knowles team, a much battered Florida State team, a lot of credit for the way they persevered and fought back.
A couple things that really turned this game. Miami was rolling. Kaya threw a pick in the end zone. His bad throw. McFadden, who's been an embattled player in that secondary for the Knowles, he made the pick that turned things around. And then there was the targeting call on Jamal Carter, the safety for the Hurricanes, on a 3rd and long play. If he doesn't target, if that call isn't made and upheld by the booth, Canes get the ball back. Who knows how it would have gone from there, but that was another play that loomed large in the final quarter.
Yeah, I think there were a few plays that kind of went back and forth. If we went back and looked at this and watched it, you could say, boy, how about that one and how about that one? Yeah, it was definitely one of those kind of games, but of course the extra point at the end. Miami did everything in their power offensively to finally get good field position after the big punt return. Coley on 4th down, the touchdown, and you just kind of assume it's going to be a tied game and head into overtime, and then Walker comes up with a big block PAT, and that's what you have to do in rivalry games.
Miami loses for the first time. down to 11 undefeated teams. Here's your top 4. The Huskies have moved up into the 4 position after a big win in Autzen Stadium.
Yeah, I flipped Alabama and Ohio State at 1 and 2. Again, this is something that can change weekly. Clemson a solid 3, and at 4, I mean, you've got teams like Louisville. Despite their 1 loss, you've got Michigan out there. I decided to move Washington up there to 4 because of what they've done now in the last 2 weeks, and they just continue to play dominating football, and I think they deserve to be up in the top 4 right now.
What's cool is Ohio State's at Wisconsin next week. We'll have that game for you. Alabama's got that date with undefeated A&M coming up at home, and Clemson's got to go to Tallahassee on the 29th of October. So big test for those top 3 in your poll.
Absolutely, and Washington has a few sneaky games on the road. They've got to go to Salt Lake and go to Berkeley. So all these teams still have a long way to go. We're just getting to the beginning of October, and it's about to get interesting.
I think Jimbo said it well. It's Florida State, Miami, huh?
Right.
It always comes down to the end, to emotion, and Dalvin Cook in his hometown able to walk off a winner for the 3rd time against the Canes as DeMarcus Walker blocks the PAT, prevents overtime, and preserves the victory. Tonight's game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For our entire crew, we bid you adieu and invite you to join us next Saturday night. Ohio State and Wisconsin in Camp Randall. That one should be a lot of fun, too. Then now for the Ford wrap-up show, let's go to Cassidy Hubbarth. Knowles win it by 1.